Welcome on in, Pokemon Unite trainers. We are back. It's been quite a bit, about 3 weeks, I think, since our last Underdunk broadcast. We had a broadcast, or not a broadcast, but we had a tournament 2 weeks ago, right before the open qualifiers. But we are back. Underdunk 81. We're back in the Swiss format. We're post qualifiers. We know majority of the teams who are going to Worlds, but still one final event in the official UCS season, and we're here to help the teams practice. Steelage and Kyle, and with me, as always, Husky Star. What's going on, Husky? How you doing?
Hello. Good to be back. We had a couple weeks off, but I mean, a lot has changed that I'm looking forward to seeing. Had a patch, a couple new Pokemon are legal in tonight's format. We're going to be doing a kind of new format here to prepare for the potential of future UCS. I was going to say episodes, events. Yeah. I guess episodes would also be. I guess that would also make sense. But yeah, I'm ready to get back into it here.
I am too. This is going to be my first experience with the All-Star Draft. I know you kind of touched on it. This is the first time we're doing it at Underdunk. We were trying to do things varied by the UCS and kind of what's going on. But with things kind of changing here and there, we still don't know if NAIC is going to change to All-Star. But if players want to play it, let's go ahead and give the players what they want. So I'm super excited to do it.
Yeah. The players going to play, and the haters going to hate.
That's exactly right.
Patch. Yeah. I've been saying this. Patch. I don't even know why the Meowscarada is up there as a buff. They ruined it. They destroyed it. They did this to hurt me specifically because firing me wasn't enough. Some of these other buffs have been interesting, though. I think Typhlosion is going to be something we see quite a lot of, either banned or picked. It seems very, very strong right now. I like seeing Metagross. I think that's definitely something people are going to be picking up a lot once again. I always kind of hate seeing attacker buffs, but I think Duraludon definitely needed it. So I think potentially there's a couple new things that might make their way into the meta, especially with some of these nerfs over here. But, we'll have to see how teams are prioritizing some of these. What do you think?
I think so too. I actually played a decent amount the other night, and there were definitely some Pokemon where I was like, oh, I think this actually could be pretty good. And one of them I think could be kind of like that sleeper pick is that Goodra, especially if the enemy team just kind of goes very brawly and there's not a lot of range to kind of deal with that thing. I think it just lives forever. So we did see a team, I believe it was Thanksgiving, that ended up taking Goodra a few times during the open qualifiers. I think actually won a game or maybe two with that Pokemon, despite it being considered one of the lower tier picks. So with some buffs, maybe we'll see it break out tonight.
Yeah. I mean, I think we'll have to see. I think we're going to get into games pretty much right away here, which I'm looking forward to because I really want to know, like, if the nerfs to things like Mega Char and Articuno, like, I'm wondering maybe Suicune, like, if these were enough to kind of take them down a peg, maybe not as much banned maybe picked a little bit more in like the later parts of the draft, but already we're seeing Psyduck, Zapdos banned. Zapdos got a little bit of a nerf, but I guess not enough for it to be completely unbanned.
Yeah, I ended up playing that Pokemon one time 2 nights ago, and I completely agree with banning it still.
Yeah,
It seemed
I think it's still pretty busted. Yeah.
silly. It's silly. Like there was some times I'm like, how did it do that much damage? Just the combos pretty strong. So yeah, agree with some bans there. I think the Psyduck makes a lot of sense, you know, despite getting nerfed. Charizard Y also being up there, I think it's still pretty strong. I think teams just don't want to deal with it. Moltres also, just get it out of here.
Yeah, all three Kanto birds being banned out here in game number 1. Moltres, a Pokemon that didn't get changed much because it got a little bit of a nerf when it first got released, if I recall correctly. But Moltres is still pretty strong. It's got a lot of sustain. Articuno, I've been playing it a little bit now that I was able to get my license points exchanged for the Articuno. And I really like it. So I think it's really strong and very tanky. So I can understand that one being banned. Not surprising here to see that Typhlosion's being picked up. It's definitely, its buffs have really, really made it super strong.
Yeah, it really is. But yeah, we got, like you said, all the legendary birds, including Charizard Y. That is also a legendary bird, in my opinion. It seems like a bird. Psyduck might be a legendary bird. I don't know. We'll see. One legendary bird that
is a pretty legendary bird, honestly, if you ask me.
Honestly, I kind of think it is. Ho-Oh is going to be hitting here for Dark Toast.
Yeah, Ho-Oh, Charizard, Moltres, Blaziken, all the fire chickens that we have in Pokemon Unite, pretty much. On the other side, Machamp, a very annoying Pokemon that has seen quite a lot of play, got a little bit of a nerf some time back, but it's still pretty strong. Umbreon as well. Its kit is just made for flexibility. So, I mean, when we have a meta where it's like not one Pokemon is definitely the strongest thing in the game, I feel like it makes things like Umbreon shine even more.
Yeah, Umbreon really strong. I think we'll get into what was picked and banned in last iteration of Underdunk, but Umbreon was up there very frequently. A few other Pokemon that have been up there, that Blastoise, we're seeing fall quite a bit down towards this later stage of our draft, which is kind of surprising given the state of this defender Pokemon. We are seeing some very unique picks here from Dark Toast. We already talked about that T-Tar, and now we have that Dragapult, a Pokemon that we don't see a ton, but it did get nerfed, though, in this most recent patch, too, so they're still prioritizing it.
Yeah, I mean, it got a little bit of a nerf, but I think with something like Dragapult, which it makes me really surprised to see it with a T-Tar. I'm interested to see how this goes. But Dragapult, when it's ahead and it has a lot of experience, it's unbelievable. It can pretty much one-shot defenders towards the end of the game if it has enough experience. But Tyranitar's the same way. And I don't know how Dark Toast is going to plan on distributing that experience, because it feels like, can you get both Tyranitar and Dragapult to a point to beat things like Blastoise and Umbreon? I guess that's what we'll have to see. But Venusaur on the other side could also pose a challenge here, because it looks like it's going to be a Beamosaur, and those beams have been hitting hard as of late.
Yeah, I love a good Venusaur game. So you kind of have those, like you said, 2 attacker picks here for Smoothies Kittens, and Venusaur being more of that traditional attacker, a little bit of range, and Typhlosion kind of feels like a pseudo attacker. It has a little bit of range, but does brawl pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, I like Smoothies Kittens comp, I think, a little bit better, just because I'm worried about this Tyranitar Dragapult. I feel like if their attacker was something that was a little bit more early game, maybe something like an Espeon or even a Glaceon, I would have been, fine with it, but we'll see what happens.
Let's get into it. Game number 1 of our Swiss round 1 is, Cyndaquil's super cute. We are going to see this Cyndaquil head towards the top path, so it'll be a traditional attacker on the bottom path of that Bulbasaur.
Yeah, the Bulbasaur heading down there. The Cyndaquil, is interesting because it is an attacker, but it does kind of play like an all-rounder, like everything else in this godforsaken game. It plays like an all-rounder. But the way that it moves, it has kind of the mobility of more like an all-rounder, potentially like a speedster kind of mobility, but it does a lot of damage and can also play from range. So seeing it in top path is not super surprising to me. I do wonder if teams are going to keep that up. Hoopa currently trying to invade the enemy central area, not making too much happen, but being annoying.
A little unsuccessful. You still get this Machoke online down the bottom path. Dragapult still not getting their levels, still just barely ticked into level 4. So right now looks like Smoothie's Kittens is actually kind of being a little bit more favored down that bottom path. This Eevee looking to get online just barely. A little too late on that tailwind from Ho-Oh.
Yeah, having an Umbreon early before these birds is going to be really helpful. We'll see what it is. It is a mean look, which is going to be huge for shutting some of these things down. Already taking 1 KO. Smoothie's Kittens off to a great start up here in the top path.
And they ended up grabbing the Pokemon, not in the mean look, still get the KO on the Hoopa. This time they grab the Ho-Oh. Another Spinorama for this Pupitar. Met in a mean look. It's going to still allow this 19 points to go on in. Machoke, their work is done. They got all that Eos energy in that T1.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with something like Tyranitar is you can just play 4v5 for the entire game, and then Tyranitar just shows up at that last fight and wins it. So I think no matter what, Smoothie's Kittens can't count out the potential of this Tyranitar. So I like that they're playing aggressive. They're invading here, taking away that experience to make sure they stay a Pupitar for as long as possible.
And that's also allowing this Ivysaur and the Quilava to get some levels. Gonna submission this Pupitar one more time. Cross Chop misses the mark. I believe that's a Focus Band proc there. Machoke, gets met. Here comes the Pillow-Swine. The Cross Chop does send the Pupitar back. I don't know if they're getting out of this one. They're gonna try to make a way from this Pillow-Swine. Goodness, that's
so annoying.
Criminal behavior.
Yeah, I mean, you just kind of wait out the cooldown of submission and you can move really fast and then cross-chop through some of those walls. Just like the micro play ability, Machamp can be as annoying as a Sableye in some of these interactions.
Looking pretty good. Hoopa Portal's gonna hit the mark in this 720 birds. Flamethrower gonna try to grab some last hits. Unfortunately for them, unsuccessful. Here comes Typhlosion. Looking to push on this T1, leaving it at 2. And now we're just going to have a little bit of a rotate down towards this bottom path for a majority of the Smoothies Kitten squad.
Yeah, I mean, Typhlosion's done a really good job up in the top path. They're level 8, getting close to level 9. Dark Toast trying to take that, but the beam from downtown will grab the Regidrago away. And this is a fantastic start for Smoothies Kittens, keeping Dark Toast shut out right now.
Gotta love getting vision from that Umbreon, allowing the Venusaur to get that steal. Typhlosion able to take out that fire-type counterpart. Ho-Oh goes back, and Typhlosion sees 4 members of Dark Toast pulling in on them. Here comes the Unite move. There's a double KO. Looking for 3. They get it.
Wow.
Here comes Hoopa. Hoopa's gonna have to try to run away. Typhlosion playing very aggressive here, not relenting at all. Another eruption is going to hit the mark. Ho-Oh trying to defend. Here comes the submission into the surf, into the wall. There's that 4th KO, but not getting credit for that 4 KO streak. Doesn't matter. Goal zone down. Regieleki up next.
Typhlosion is looking so strong. I mean, I've played against it a few times. I haven't quite gotten it yet. I did get it in the dice, but then any time that I was trying to play it, it was getting banned. So I haven't actually played Typhlosion yet. But every time I've played against it, it's been seriously strong. So seeing like the actual good players playing it, it's definitely seeming pretty broken right now. I wouldn't be surprised if we kept seeing it tonight. But Smoothies Kittens wants to keep pushing this. They want to try to get the Regieleki into tier 2.
Yeah, they're doing a pretty good job. Hoopa just able to reset a couple Pokemon for this one more defensive stand. However, Pupitar, level 8, unable to get to T-Tar, means a double KO for this Typhlosion, continually pressing forward, making a 3-piece combo, and it's looking pretty good. Venusaur has some beams. They've dropped that Unite move, and that provided a lot of damage to allow Typhlosion to clean up.
We do have level 9 now on the Tyranitar, so even a couple levels down, it can still pose a difficult situation. It's going to pop that Unite move, go right in on the Umbreon. They do pop a Unite move of their own, but the shields don't matter to something like a Tyranitar. They will go down. Typhlosion in trouble. They have to eject button. Will they be able to get out? Yes, they will, Kyle.
Perfect surf there from Blastoise to keep that Typhlosion upright. Otherwise, that level 12 Typhlosion would have likely gone down. Mamoswine gets met by a beam. Blastoise going to surf them away one more time. Going to reset this beam. There's that Sludge Bomb. Can we hit it again?
Oh,
but it's not enough damage. Just barely getting through this Hoopa portal.
That was crazy to watch because the Mamoswine was surfed onto the jump pad and then it got forced to jump over the wall directly into the beam. And then I watched all of them on Dark Toast literally line up in a straight line that was like perfectly aligned with that second solar beam. It was just kind of like I don't know. When things happen, sometimes things do happen. And you can quote me on that.
That's true.
332 to nothing here. Still Dark Toast completely shut out. I think they absolutely need to start going all together. I don't know if Mooney's trying to mute me. She's now standing on my keyboard. I think they definitely need to move as a team here. Glad to see them in a full pack of 5 immediately to go down.
Oh, that beam was absolutely perfect. Great vision there from Typhlosion. They're going to chase down this Hoopa. Eruption hits the mark. And Dark Toast all perish. And now I think Smoothie's Kittens can just stall out this Regieleki. I mean, they have full control of this. This could potentially be a base Lecky. So I think they're very comfortable with just holding on until a little bit later.
I mean, Smoothies Kittens has done such a great job of keeping this Tyranitar from getting online. Like, yeah, they are level 11, but that's not nearly where they want to be by the end fight. And Smoothies Kittens just been playing super aggressive, making it so that the Tyranitar can't actually move in anywhere, can't farm their own side, and they've been kept to a relatively low level. That could change with a good engagement from something like this Mamoswine or some damage being put down from this Dragapult. Could potentially see them try to do that here in this bottom path.
Very scary moments. Typhlosion, though, able to run away from those 4 members of Dark Toast. All 5 are actually down there. Smoothies Kittens are now going to start making their way towards this Regieleki. It looks like Venusaur might be going for it. Yeah, they're going to just start ripping through this. Should be pretty easy clears unless Ho-Oh makes a steal. Oh, that could have been dangerous, but it doesn't matter. They're able to clear it.
Ho-Oh hesitated for a second. I think if they just kept walking forward and threw a basic attack, they might have been able to land on it there, but it is tough in that decision. You don't want to like take a ton of damage right before this final objective hits the map. Ooh, poor Hoopa just got obliterated by that beam. And I don't think there's really anything that could dive onto that Venusaur who's just been silently destroying in that backline.
Yeah, it doesn't look really likely. Dragapult immediately goes down. Groudon has hit the map. Here comes T-Tar, met by a mean look. Here's some eruptions. Uh-oh, might have to revive a couple of friends here shortly. And there it is. There's that revival. We'll see if that really amounts to anything. Umbreon getting low. Another beam. It's going to send a couple of members back to the Pokemon Center. 4 to be exact, and that is a 4 KO streak for this Typhlosion. Regieleki makes its way into the home goal, and this should be all but it for Smoothies.
Yeah, the Typhlosion KO numbers, I'm interested to see what that is. I've lost count after a certain point. There were multiple quadra KOs, a couple of triples here and there, but I mean, it was a good call to immediately revive the Tyranitar, but unfortunately, the Tyranitar, it used its Unite move right before going down, so there was really nothing that it could do even when it respawned, and then, you know, the beam from the back line, like, who was even able to do anything about the beam? There was no answer at all. I think that the damage taken numbers on Venusaur are going to be very low.
Yeah, barely anything, I would imagine. I think most of it's probably going to come in these, like, garbage time. We'll see exactly what happens. But they're going to try to get these 1,000 points in. There's another Hydro Typhoon for good measure. Going to push Hoopa away from the portal. Another beam is going to send more Pokemon back to the Pokemon Center. And, yeah, I mean, this one was all Smoothies. 0 points. I mean, we got to talk about that. A big fat 0 in Game 1. Not the best showing here. What do you think Dark Toast needs to do in Game 2?
I mean, based on the way that I've seen them play in game number 1, it seemed like their draft strategy was just kind of focused on what the members of their team could play and prioritizing kind of their best picks instead of responsive draft, which Smoothies Kittens was definitely in control of the drafting, being that first pick, grabbing Typhlosion first. I think Dark Toast needs to do a little bit better on countering draft picks and actually picking Pokemon that are going to do well into the enemy team's composition, because that type of drafting strategy matters so much more at this level than, you know, what we tend to think about in a solo or duo trio queue environment.
Yeah, I mean, you look kills. Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, you look at the team, right? It's very late scaling. And when
Mm-hmm.
you play Pokemon like that, like Dragapult, like Tyranitar,
Oh my
you have to
god.
be able to survive
4,000
that early
taken!
game. Yeah. Yeah.
Kyle!
Yeah.
4,000 damage
I
taken.
got tickled a little bit. Just like a little bit.
Venusaur got hit by one basic attack. That's like the damage from like one Dragapult ult.
Yeah,
Like one.
basically.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Mhm.
4,000 damage take. I
Yeah, it
mean, we
didn't
also
they
have
didn't go
to
down.
talk about 127,000 damage dealt
Yeah.
by that Typhlosion. Kind of ridiculous Pokemon, but that 4,000 damage take, I feel like I've never on an attacker seen a number that low.
Yeah, I think people have been sleeping on Venusaur for a little bit too. I think this Pokemon is incredibly good, and it's one of my favorite Pokemon to play
Hmm.
over the entirety of this game. I think it's just so fun. And there are metas where it's really good, and then there are metas where it's absolute dog water. And right now we're
Yeah.
kind of at a spot where there's not a ton of speedsters that are getting played, and when that happens, you don't have a whole lot of things that outrange the Venusaur. The struggle
Hmm.
that Venusaur has is that early game, getting that level 5, but you saw in that bottom path that Venusaur was able to outscale the enemy team, and I think part of that was because of the way that Dark Toast's composition was set up in that bottom path. If they were to go that Venusaur again, I would really want to see Dark Toast having some earlier Pokemon that can really focus on those last hits in the
Hmm.
bottom path to try to match what that Venusaur was doing.
Yeah, I mean, I think like if you want to build a Tyranitar composition, it's definitely something that you can do. But I think kind of the rest of their composition was not supportive of the Tyranitar succeeding even in the late game. I think clearly this team has some micro skill. They have some Pokemon that they're comfortable with, but I think
Mm,
that they definitely can focus a little bit more on that drafting phase, try to actually respond to what's going on in the other draft. If you want to play Tyranitar and you're like, I want to make a Tyranitar composition, I think it needs a pocket. I think it needs something like Clefable, healing it up. It needs a
mhm,
little bit better of a front line as opposed to something like a Mamoswine that's also late game. If you want a tank front line, you probably need something a little bit more early game focused, maybe a Trevenant. Um, Umbreon, of course, like we saw, take that away from Smoothie's Kittens, I
mhm.
think would be super beneficial. A mean look could really help a Tyranitar. And then provide some extra backline damage support in a low stakes way, like Electro Ball Pikachu,
Mhm.
or like a stored power Espeon, and kind of play it more like Protect the President. I think that works really well as opposed to having three-stage evolution Pokemon on the team. It just kind of wasn't setting them up for success, especially when Smoothie's Kittens started dominating that early game.
Mhm. Yeah, there's a lot of good that happened. There's a lot of questionable things that happen. But regardless of all of that, we are just a reminder to everybody. We are an all-star draft. So the Pokemon that we saw in the last game, those are off the table. We're not seeing them in game
They're
number
off the
2. So
table.
they're not on the table. What is on the table? Mooney. She's on the table.
It's Miss. So, Miss, what do you want to see in the next
Yeah.
game?
I think she
Her
said
favorite
Meowscarada.
Pokemon is Espeon.
Mm,
Um,
that makes
she
sense.
really loves Espeon. She likes a lot of psychic type Pokemon because she's so very smart. So she really likes Espeon and Gardevoir. So she would be very happy to see those Pokemon come out. Um, but after so many of these really strong picks have been picked just in this game number one, I do wonder kind of what we pivot to from here because I think a lot of Smoothies Kittens Pokemon were like probably some of the best picks they could have chosen, right? You got
Yeah.
Blastoise out, Umbreon is out, Typhlosion is out. So, what's your plan from here? I'm excited to see.
Me too. And I think I got this correct on the bottom. I think that's all the Pokemon that we saw in game 1. If it's not, we'll find out, but I believe I got it all right. The hoop, yeah, it looks like it checked out. I forgot to take a screenshot
Mhm.
and post
No,
it so
those
I can
were those were
easily
the right
update.
ones.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
think I got it. You did a good job filling while I was, like, locked
While you
in
were
trying to
selecting them,
select all of
I
these.
really like that plugin. It's
Yeah.
really convenient for
Mhm.
especially like what we saw from the little bit of All-Star draft that was competitive, like
Yeah.
from what we saw in like ACL. they had a really shitty overlay, honestly.
Yeah.
So it was hard to actually see. I like this one better though. All right, let's start getting into our bands here. Same bands from one side so far. We'll see if it's the same bands from the other side. But no, it's actually going to be a Ceruledge band. So leaving the
Yeah.
Articuno as a potential
Yeah.
first pick for Smoothie's Kittens.
Yeah, the legendary bird Ceruledge gets banned instead of the legendary bird Articuno. We'll see what we get here. I mean, there are definitely a lot of picks. You do leave that Typhlosion on the table once again. We'll see if they want to grab that with that first pick. I don't know if we're gonna do
Well, they
that. Yeah.
can.
Oh my gosh, you're so right. I need to like lock in and remember that we're doing All-Star Draft.
We just
I need to
talked
lock
about
in.
it.
We
Like we
did.
just had a whole conversation.
We did.
Anyway.
I'm
Somebody
lost.
fire this guy.
Fire production.
Fire production.
He's focused on the overlay.
Wait, what's the
and
command
not
again? What's
yeah,
the
there's
command?
I think it's like
Is it
fire.
just like fire?
I think it's just fire. No, fired?
Oh, I don't know. It's not fire. Fired?
Yeah.
Yeah,
There we go.
Fire production.
No time.
I love how like there's a little bit of a delay, so like they're
Yeah.
seeing that come into anyway. All right, Articuno first picked. Not surprising here. Just Articuno's great. Go ahead. Talk
great.
about stuff.
Yep. Your turn. Yeah, I mean, Articuno got banned in game number 1. We're gonna see it out here. I think like this Clefable pick, I'm never like a huge fan of Clefable early in draft because I feel like it's a Pokemon that can get countered pretty easily. Unfortunately, I don't see like really a good counter for Dark Toast. Like, I feel like this is it kind of plays into what Clefable wants to do. Like, it wants to have everybody grouped. Like, I would love to see Dark Toast maybe go with an A presser in the end. I think Glaceon would actually do pretty well here.
Yeah, Glaceon, I don't mind. Moon's very happy. She's sitting here watching. She loves to see Tinkaton and Espeon on the other side. So I think I know who she's rooting for. Urshifu as well. Is pretty strong here. I think that Metagross is going to play specifically pretty well into something like a Tinkaton. And depending on, I can't see the items, but depending on what the Urshifu, what style it ends up being. And we did lock in Cinderace here, which I honestly think is really solid. It can be, I think, especially into like Tinkaton, Articuno, you stay out of their range, let Metagross do some work up front while you're just A-pressing in the back. I think that's a pretty smart move from them.
So too. Yeah, I love a good Cinderace game. I think it does really well into Clefable comps because Clefable does well when they're a Pokemon that run out of cooldown. Cinderace, obviously, an A presser. You don't run out of the A button. Well, I don't think so. We'll have to see. This is another Pokemon that we don't see a ton of, and I think that's one of the really fun things about the All-Star Draft is we are going to see, how deep pools these players have. Seeing the Delmise, seeing the Tinkaton. I'm really excited to see both of these Pokemon, 2 things that you don't often see.
Yeah, especially when we get a little bit later into some of these games. Like, these are 3-game sets, but, if we get to game 3s, now that's an entire 20 Pokemon that you can no longer use, which is exciting. So there's a lot of Pokemon in the game, and it's not that hard to have a couple things up your sleeve, but it is a lot harder when you have less options to really construct solid team compositions. I think MVP here is going to go to that Articuno pick. It's definitely pretty busted, but we will see what happens in game 2 of something E-Kittens. Oh, wait, we can't say that, and Dark Toast.
Yeah, you can't say that. It's illegal. Well, we aren't going to get into it. Looks like we had a little bit of a crash, so once we get that resolved, we'll make sure to get that moving and grooving. I do need to redo.
I have like your stream up on the other tab, and Moon is like face directly in the screen watching.
Oh,
hold on, I'll send it. She's crazy. She's excited about this game, but yeah, we'll see what ends up happening here. We've got a little bit of a pause going on. So I guess to talk some more about what's going on in the compositions, I never got to see Urshifu's items. I think I would imagine, because this was the one that got buffed recently, it would be the Wicked Blow one, the single strike Urshifu. But
oh yeah,
I mean, we'll see. I don't know for sure. I can imagine that the Rapid Strike would also be good because it gives a little bit of dive. to that side and potentially get back there on that Cinderace. I'm also going to be interested to see what moveset the Cinderace is going. Pyro Ball Feint has kind of been the competitive moveset for a little while, but you do sacrifice some mobility that could be good if you were to be going up against something like a Water Urshifu.
Yeah, I think generally Feint is better just because you do get those iframes, and you can you could dodge things like the Espeon Psybeams or the Psy Strikes or Psy Shock, not Psy Strike, the Tickaton Gigaton Hammer. If it was an
Mhm.
Urshifu with Wicked Blow, you could dodge that as well. But I think generally what we'll probably see here, I'm looking at. I went to do a little cheat sheet. Went to the main feed, and it looks like it is probably going to be a Water Bear. I did see the full heal on it, so it kind of leads me to believe
Okay.
that is going to be the
Yeah, so
play
some
for
more
them.
dive.
Yeah, a little bit more dive. Yeah.
Yeah, that's helpful. I think the Metagross Tinkaton matchup is also going to be interesting. A
Oh,
Tinkaton,
true.
both of them definitely want to fight each other. You know, like they're definitely really set up to be in the mix, last a long time, have somebody up there to fight consistently. So it's going to be interesting. And if you have a Clefable and an Articuno just standing there, it's like I think this is going to be a tanky game.
Yeah, definitely seems that way. Let's get into game number 2. Finally, players are back. We're going to see that Espeon Articuno head down towards the bottom path. It is going to be Tink along with the Clefable up in the top path, and Urshifu taking the central area. Doesn't look like any invades are going on, though.
Yeah, I mean, Tinkaton and Beldum are a little bit difficult in that early game. You want to get them their stacks, but they're, 3-stage evolution Pokemon. Their early games are a little bit tough. So them kind of battling it out is mostly the Crustle versus Clefable battle rather than the two of them going at each other just yet. Looking for some stacks here. Tinkatink, gonna get one. Beldum, gonna get one.
Oh, Clefairy just able to narrowly escape some of those rocks falling down from this Dwebble. Tink in a little bit of a bind here. Two members converging. I believe that was a focus ban. Eventually, they go down. Dwebble evolves. We have a Crustle online, but here comes Urshifu. They're trying to take down a KO. They do. They get that poor little Raboot. Another KO.
Wow.
Clefairy's going to evolve. A nice little cleanup here for Smoothie's Kittens, and here come the stacks.
Yeah, a little bit of a bait there. We saw the X speed from Cinderace coming out, so they were trying to catch up to the Tinkatank and get there before, the Clefable were to come back into that fight, but then it was kind of a missed time or an unfortunate timing that the Urshifu just happened to be there at the same time. We're seeing them now in the central area, the Urshifu, I guess, trying to harass the Cinderace a little bit, trying to keep vision on them for now, see if there's a potential to invade.
Yeah, I'm surprised that no one on Dark Toast wanted to go ahead and invade knowing that it was going to be your Shifu, and now you're reaping the problems of not doing that. Do you have Tinkatink getting their evolution? Not quite Tinkaton yet. They're just on the tough stage of life. 3 members down here for Dark Toast. Nice little Psyshock from Espeon gets that secure away, and Regidrago is on the horizon.
Yeah, I mean, this X-Speed Cinderace is interesting to me. Very surprised to not see an eject button. I feel like that's a classic solo queue move, but, I'll let them cook. And at this point, level 6 on that Tinkatuff, they're just going to kind of be able to harass potentially this goal zone, especially with the Clefable standing there.
Oh, no, that feels really bad. More stacks coming in. You're going to get this evolution online for Tinkaton as well. This Clefable is doing massive amounts of healing. You saw the perfect example right there. Now this is going to be Regidrago up for grabs. Smoothie's Kittens going to go ahead and close that out. Articuno getting to secure, so their score speed will be increased for quite a bit. A little bit of a scuffle here on this T1 Gigaton Hammer. Oh my gosh, that hammer's already pretty big. That's going to be a big problem here for Dark Toast as we move forward.
Yeah, I mean, now that Tinkaton is level 8, we still don't have a level 5 on this Beldum, so, the Metagross, whenever they come online, is still going to be really far behind. So I think the matchup with this Tinkaton versus the Metagross is definitely in the favor of this Tinkaton. Unfortunately, the Beldum just has not been able to do it. We see them going down again there as well. Cinderace luckily gets that in the bottom path. They're able to take the Regice, even out securing that Psyshock.
Yeah, it's a Pyro Ball Cinderace, so a little bit more burst, not as much A-Press prowess as we had thought. Tinkaton, Gigaton Hammer able to control this Regieleki. Clefable trying to control these two Pokemon on their own side of the map. The push is on. Here comes Tinkaton and the Urshifu, but here comes Cinderace on the counter. Pyro Ball misses the mark. Crustle gonna X-Scissor, try to keep this Regieleki away. Gonna try to go on in. Gigaton Hammer.
Wow.
Gonna be able to take a KO. Delmai's next on the chopping block. Maybe a little bit of a hammer time for this Tinkaton, and Regieleki walks in, and this is looking like game one all over again.
Yeah, I mean, the Clefable with the follow me, you stun them right into the Gigaton Hammer. The Tinkaton's doing a ton of damage, healing themselves back up. And now look at them, into 4, trying to get out of this. They do go down. It's actually a huge KO. Unfortunately, it went to the Blissey, but still, everyone being in the area is going to be a big pick for Dark Toast.
Hinting for hammer stacks. That's what I'm going to go with. I'm sure that's what Tinkaton's going with as well. Psyshock going to connect on the Cinderace. Not able to get the KO there. Clefable going to go down. Perfect Psyshock hits another 4. Unite move here from the Articuno is going to hit a couple. Another Psyshock's going to take out that Metagross. We have the Blazing Bicycles kick from the Cinderace. Here comes Espeon with a big Unite move that's going to explode a couple Fate. It's going to allow Cinderace to get away, but Blissey not going to be so fortunate.
Wow, what a play there from the Espeon, almost going down there to a Pyro Ball as well. Cinderace on less than 1 HP. Tinkaton gonna try to chase them down, make sure they can't get away easily. Oh, a little bit of a misplay from them there too. They get anchor shotted, but doesn't even matter. They heal so much, they almost even take the Metagross down with them.
Hinting for hammer stacks. I'm telling you, they're gonna have full hammer stacks very shortly if they don't have it already. Another
checking it out too.
Here. Check it out.
They hit the check it out for the Tinkaton inting there. Classic.
Yeah, you know, it's actually pretty great. Regice here for Smoothie's Kittens. They should be able to take it. Nice little effort there from the Crustle. This little pull there from the Delmai's. Metagross going to set up the Thunderdome. We'll see if we get a KO here. Unite move from Clefable. It's going to be a Hydro Pump. Delmai's going to try to go in. Crustle has hit their Rubble Rouser. The Brawl is on. Cinderace gets caught there. They're going to get going back to the Pokemon Center as well. And this Tinkaton, they're not inting there. Double KO. Going to take down another. Crustle should be a third, maybe if we get onto it, but it's kind of mobile right now.
I mean, I think they got their hammer stacks when they inted last time, so I think they're pretty set at this point. This Clefable as well is just playing fantastically. They were trapped in the Thunderdome from the Metagross, and they were able to kind of weave through everybody in there, make sure that their move cooldowns were being prioritized, and they were able to be really effective in that fight, just healing everybody up. They've been playing fantastic so far.
Looking for more hammer stacks. Nice little dodge there from Cinderace. Should be to clear their central area, unwise of where the rest of Smoothie's Kittens are. Nice little feint there, going to dodge a little bit, but Espeon does hit them with that side beam. 3:18 on the clock, and we have 3:48 to 4, so we still have 4 points from Smoothies, or from Dark Toast, but that's not going to be quite enough just yet. Still way back and a lot of work to do before we get to our second ground up.
Very classic Tinkaton play there. Just stand in a bush and hit someone with your hammer. You know, it's that's what you want to do as Tinkaton. True. You always want to stand in a bush and hit people with a hammer. And, you know, I think about that as well, you know, on my day today. I feel, I really do. But trapped here, Tinkaton has to use an eject button. A little bit late to use an eject button. It's not the best. They will get a KO out of it. Delmai's will go down.
And that hammer is fully stacked, and Smoothie's Kittens looking for this basement objective. We'll see what the roulette wheel rolls. It's going to be a Reg Ice, and that will be a nice buff here, so they'll have some healing going into this Groudon.
Yeah, 20 seconds remaining before the Groudon hits the map. Nobody's covering top path, so I don't mind this play from Dark Toast just to break a goal zone. The score lead is very wide for Smoothie's Kittens, but any points that you can possibly get in is going to be helpful here. They will also take a Regieleki off the map. It's going to go towards Tier 2. It'll get them at least a couple points. At most, it'll get them an opportunity to distract Smoothie's Kittens or make an interesting play.
See how this goes. No one really stepping forward too far on Dark Toast. Crustle goes. Gonna be able to dodge a little bit. Oh, Espeon hits a perfect combination. Unite moves didn't come out from the Delmai, so they're back to the Pokemon Center. Crustle hits their Rubble Rouser, but 2 members are down. Blissey, and now Cinderace goes. Espeon hits another Side Shot combo. Urshifu on the back line is cleaning it up. Metagross hiding in the tall grass, waiting to try to see if they can get in. Here comes their Unite move. Is that going to be enough? No. Perfect blender for Smoothie's Kittens, and they take route out.
Yeah, just not a surprising outcome, honestly, with the way that Smoothies Kittens has been playing tonight. Just really strong. Everything they have done throughout this game and throughout the last game has just been by the book, playing their Pokemon. Even like Tinkaton not being a Pokemon that gets played a lot, they clearly know the strengths of this Pokemon and they know how to pilot it in a way that's going to get them wins.
Good stuff here for Smoothie Kittens. Going to win this one 2-0. Oh, we have to fire production again. I forgot to put... I was focused on getting the draft overlay. I didn't put the score.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
Fired
again. Now, look, now we have 2. Now we have 2. So we had game 2 where it was just showing 0-0 the entire time.
Yeah, that's
fire
fine.
production. Yeah, it's okay.
Well, that was game 2 for those of you who may be just joining us here. So that was game number 2. Smoothies Kittens won in a shutout in game number 1. This time, not so different. Maybe the scores were just a little bit smaller for Smoothies Kittens and just a little bit bigger for Dark Toast. But still, what a game for them. Your fave Mexican on the Tinkaton, 16 KOs in this game. I believe they played the Typhlosion last time and had 19 KOs. That was absolutely crazy. Dark Toast put up a good fight. I liked their composition a lot better this time. Cressel leading the damage charge as well. It's always a positive, but Smoothies Kittens just played insane.
Indeed. I mean, this is a good team. I feel like we see this team kind of at the top of the leaderboards most Underdunk events, or at least an iteration of this team. So yeah, tough team to go against for Dark Toast in round 1. Hopefully their future opponents will be a little bit more favorable. So we'll see. I'm excited to see this Smoothies Kittens team progress throughout the night. We'll see if they could kind of keep this momentum up.
Yeah, they were looking pretty good in this first set. I liked their picks as well. And we saw, again, with like the stats, somehow Urshifu this time took about 7,000 damage. How? On Water Bear are we only taking 7,000 damage? I think to be fair, there just wasn't a lot of fights because Smoothies Kittens was just in them with Tinkaton the entire time, and that was it. But yeah, great playing from them. Clefable also performed incredibly well, I think, especially this game. So yeah, I think great set to start out Underdunk 81 tonight. Yeah, that was the end of the sentence. I don't know why.
That was the end of the sentence.
I don't know why I always act like I have more to say. That was it.
No, what you should do. There's Dragu does this to me whenever we cast together. When he has a moment like that, when he thinks he's gonna say something else, but he doesn't, he'll just say, "Your turn."
Your turn.
Your turn. And your turn.
Just like yell it. And now it's Kyle.
And now. Cool. Well, that is it for round number 1, at least this set. We're going to go to a quick break while we try to figure out if maybe there's a game 3 to be seen before we get into a round number 2. So don't go far, trainers. We'll have more action after this. It's going to be Underdunk 9 squared for those that can do math. Based on my solo queue team, not many.
We don't know. We don't know if you all can do math, just so that you understand the joke here. 9 squared means 9 times 9, which is 81, and that's the number of the Underdunk that we have. Make sure you brush up on your math skills, folks.
Yeah, brush up. All right, we'll be back very soon. We'll see you in a quick moment. And let's get ready to rumble!
Rumble!
Yeah. Welcome back, traders.
I caught on. I figured it out.
Did you? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For those that weren't backstage, which was just us two, I said, "Are you ready to rumble?" And I just decided to do that on the spot. So here we are. We are in round number 2. We're gonna see Miltank Patrollers taking on Mamo's Moving Company. Trying to remember who is on either of these teams. I believe the Mamo's Moving Company. I believe that's Elo Poppy's squad. So I'm pretty excited. Anytime
Elo, Poppy, Stupa, Christopher. Yeah, pretty good squad.
Yeah, that's gonna be a fun one to watch. And then Miltank Patroller. Some familiar names mid lane. Tired Alex was formerly on Exodia. So I think this actually should be a pretty good set, especially in round number 2.
Yeah, this will be an interesting one. I believe both of these teams lost in round number 1, if I remember correctly. So clearly we've got some pretty good teams tonight in the squad.
Yeah.
Hello. Clearly we've got some good teams signed up for Underdunk, so there's going to be a lot of action. And the All-Star Draft, I think, just brings us a different, just kind of like a different, more nuanced way of viewing the game, where you can't go into any one match with the same strategy. So if you're not prepared for it, then it's going to be a lot more difficult to kind of bring it back in some of these situations.
It's true. I want to take a look at, since we have a little bit of time before the match is fully ready. Do you have a little bit of information that we do see that Mamo will be on second pick, and we are going to see the Kyogre map for the first time this evening, as we did see Groudon in both game 1 and 2 of our round number 1. But let's take a look at our top encounters from last time, Underdog number 80.
Yeah, these are interesting. I think that a lot of these have stayed pretty similar from what we can see so far. Maybe Mega Charizard is going to go down just a little bit after it got some recent nerfs, but things like Psyduck, Moltres, Machamp, Snorlax, like these are things that we have been seeing for months and months throughout the entire UCS season. It is interesting to see Blastoise going down so far. I guess the nerfs finally caught up to it, and things like Umbreon, like we were kind of talking about in the last set, things like Umbreon are kind of making their way back in as like that premier defender.
Yeah, I think the other thing that I'm very interested in as we get to stats for this current event is that we are on All-Star Draft now, so the numbers are going to be very different this week versus our last iteration of Underdunk 80. So that's kind of an interesting thing to think about. We'll see if we can figure out like how we can kind of incorporate like the first game bans or whatever. I don't know. There's some things that we could potentially think about. Let's take a look at our picks, our top picks. Like you said, very notable Pokemon that we've been seeing tonight. The Moltres, the Snorlax. Snorlax got banned both in game 1 and 2 last round. So maybe we'll see it eventually tonight. It was the highest picked Pokemon last time.
Middle of a yawn. We're good.
Well, that makes sense because we're just talking about Snorlax.
No, and that's exactly what was happening. Snorlax is just one of those Pokemon that's always going to be strong, and it's a really safe first pick option too. So if you're not exactly sure what the enemy team's going to do based on the bans that everybody's laid out, picking Snorlax is always going to be good, and you can be really flexible with its movesets too. So it's not surprising that it's still really up there in pick rate.
Not super surprising, but what is not also surprising or something, I don't know where I was going with it. We are going to be getting into game number 1.
You always do that. You always do that where you want to like tie that like directly in, and sometimes it just there isn't anything.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it very much doesn't. That was a time where it absolutely did not. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, keep shooting for the stars. That's all I gotta say.
I've been saying this. I've been shooting for stars and whatever Haley Williams said in that one song, Airplanes, Night Sky, something, right? She said, I'm pretty sure there was something about that in the Airplane. Bands though, two of the Johtos. Yeah, 2 of the Johto starters. This was something that we talked about backstage after our set 1. We were like, do people know that Feraligator's available to play tonight? Our only ban is Meganium. Megan is the only Pokemon banned. It's not even out until like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
We are going to maybe see Feraligatr at some point tonight, just not in this game.
Yeah, at least not right now. And it's hard for me to tell, especially when a new Pokemon comes out and we haven't seen it in any tournaments, like how good it actually is. I think it's safe to say at this point that Typhlosion's pretty broken. So, we'll see how that ends up going. But yeah, Feraligatr banned game number 1 of this set. Machamp first picked here for Miltank Patrollers.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. I mean, seems like a good Blissey setup, right? I feel like Machamp doesn't struggle into many Pokemon, but when there's a Blissey, I think this Umbreon works pretty well too. You have a Blissey that could kind of cleanse those submissions. I think it works really well. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Mamo's Moving Co, pivot to that pick.
Yeah, I also love how everyone is the same name, so I have no idea what's going on. So I'm just going to have to call everyone by the Pokemon that they've picked. Interesting drafting strategy for Miltank Patrollers, taking a lot of carry Pokemon out the gate. Mamos Moving Company being a little bit more conservative with their picks. I mean, they had the Moltres, which is obviously a pick that you want to see up there, and then the Umbreon. And we also see Slowbro come out, which is a great counter when you have a lot of carries on the board. Something like a Cinderace, a Machamp as well. A lot of targets that you could potentially slow beam. Is Miltank Patrollers just not playing real Pokemon? Is that what is happening here? They're going to go for a full carry squad.
Yeah, full carry. No supporter. Maybe Buzzwole is support. What the hell? I don't know what's going on. We'll see.
Okay,
we'll
real team composition versus not a real team composition. Maybe they're just trying to remove a bunch of Pokemon, and then the strategy is in the second game we lock in, where they're just taking a bunch of carries off the board so that Mamo's Moving Company can't get them in the next game.
They're playing the long
I don't know, or
con.
maybe we're like cooking, but this is the ultimate solo queue team comp right here.
Yeah, this is my nightmare when I lock in. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna play a Cinderace, and then no one plays any sort of like supporter or defender. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Maybe they are playing the long con. They're setting up for that game 3, like you talked about. They're taking these Pokemon off the board so they can kind of play for game 2 and 3. Mid lane says Cinder support. Okay. Let them cook.
Okay, all right, yeah. So Cinder's support. Does that mean Machamp tank or Buzzwole tank? Maybe. I guess they both have focus bands on, and so does maybe Garchomp tank. I don't know. We'll see. I think that Mamo's Moving Company's team composition is a little bit more cohesive. But it's not to say that Miltank Patrollers comp can't win. I think they're probably very comfortable with the energy that they've brought into the studio tonight, Kyle.
I'm super excited for this. Well, we'll see how this goes. I mean, you kind of have some power picks for Mamo. You have that Moltres, which, we saw how good that Pokemon was during the open quals. So we'll see how good it is here in game number 1. Miltank Patroller is going to be on your purple side, and we have a pause. Mamo Swine Moving Co. going to be on your orange. Still paused.
Yeah, just a little bit of a pause so that we can all take in the scenery around us. This is also the second time that we're going to be seeing both Cinderace and the Metagross that came into the last round. So I'm not sure how often they're being played, but it is interesting seeing things like auto attackers being prioritized a little bit more lately. A lot of auto attackers have recently got a buff. I hate them. I like playing them. Hate seeing anyone else play them, but it is interesting to see that they have a bit more of a place here in this meta.
Let's get into it. Machop gonna head down towards your bottom path along with this Gibble. Dodrio on a little bit of a late start, but they are gonna head towards that central area.
Yeah, Dodrio heading into the central area as well as the Metagross, and it looks like Moltres is going to be the Pokemon taking that top path slot, which is going to be helpful against something as powerful as a Buzzwole in the early game. And look at this, already Machamp on the opposite side trying to harass this little Beldum.
Yeah, gonna try to take this blue buff away. Unsuccessful. Good last hit there from Beldum. It's gonna force an eject button out. Eject button is return. More boosted autos coming through. Kyo. Everybody's Kyo. They're gonna try to run away, but you can't. Beldum's gonna chase them down.
Yeah, I mean, it was a long chase, so wasted a good bit of time there, but I think kind of both teams ended up losing some time in that situation. Neither team has scored a point quite yet, so if anybody was stacking, they are not quite stacked up just yet as both central area Pokemon start to make their way up to this top path.
Let's do it. 850 birds, and Moltres going to start the party off. Very heavy damage onto the Machop, who has to go back towards that T1. Buzzwole trying to run away. Moltres going to get the best of them. Machop, the next one to fall. Dodrio going to have to run away now, and it is a Scald Bro. I like that.
Yes, yeah, Scald Bro. I definitely don't mind something like a Scald Bro here. I think there's a lot of a place for it, but I think that so far Miltank Patroller is not off to the best start. A lot of KOs going in favor of Memo's Moving Company, which is kind of, tank diff. Like sometimes if you have a tank or a support on your team, it's kind of just better. But I don't know. The jury's still out on that one.
Yeah. I actually really like the uniqueness for Mamo's Moving Company. I mean, you have that Armarouge with the Fire Spin, which I think does really well into the Brawl. This Machop's just going to go down again, man. We'll see if they can actually get away. But also, like we talked about, that Scald Bro does really well into all those like physical attackers too.
Yeah, I mean, remember like back before Machamp was notably good, the only thing that it was ever used for was just to invade and run around with submission. I mean, I feel like we're kind of back to that here with what this Machop has been doing so far, but it's not looking good for them. They need a little bit more experience to actually get that submission, and Memo's Moving Company has their levels up pretty well so far.
Yeah, level 7, level 8, nearing some Unite moves. Armarouge gonna try to take all this Altaria family. Here comes Garchomp. Might be a little bit late to the party. Mean look on this Dodrio. I think that's also a very great play there to kind of slow that thing down, keep it from diving your backline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So far, interesting game. I think that there's going to be a lot for Miltank Patrollers to kind of focus on, the experience levels that they need to be able to get online. Will pick up a KO here, which is going to be important, but here comes the Moltres, and this thing can sustain pretty well. Oh, great Leech Life there. Will actually take Pokemon down.
Those are two big KOs there for Miltank Patrollers. Unfortunately, the Buzzwole does pay the price there. Regice does go over to this Garchomp, so despite everything, despite the slow start for Miltank Patrollers, they're kind of back in this one.
Yeah, I mean, all it takes is a couple of good KOs, and suddenly any game can be turned around. Definitely not on the board yet, quite yet, in terms of score, but they're doing pretty well. Otherwise, in the bottom path, Memo's Moving Company going to try to take down this Regieleki before anybody notices, and they will be able to do that here while Dodrio scored a couple more points.
Machoke breaking some ankles, those steel ankles of Metagross. That is going to start to walk towards this T2 goal zone. Great play there. Ambush from Garchomp from that tall grass area. Metagross is going to have to retreat. That blazing bicycle kick, almost finding a KO. Writing on the wall, Dodrio looking to take down the back line. They do. Metagross down.
Yeah, Metagross going down here. Definitely a good play for Miltank Patrollers. They're definitely starting to cook up here as these carry Pokemon start to be able to deal a ton of damage. Another big Pyro Ball comes out, 2 KO streak for the Cinderace. Now it's just going to be a matter of can they take down this Umbreon. They do use a Unite move, buy some time for the Metagross. Big return KO from the Metagross.
Yeah, Metagross gets that one, able to dodge a little bit, just able to get to that Citrus Berry. Meteor Mash, not able to reach that Garchomp, who's deposited 33 points. Armarouge comes to the rescue, takes out that Dodrio. So we've been having a lot of brawls here so far. Good eject button from Buzzwole to try to take out the Moltres. But Moltres, it's Elo Poppy able to get away. Going to try to go back into the Buzzwole. Leech Life hits the mark. Are we going to find a KO? Garchomp coming to the rescue, holding down that A button. But man, the mobility on that legendary bird is absolutely criminal.
Yeah, I mean the amount of defenses it has, it's just so tanky in some of these points. Like even the shredding A pressers are not enough to take down these legendary birds. Even the legendary birds Cinderace, not enough to take down the legendary birds. Here comes a Regice here. Metagross going to jump right in, start ripping this thing down, but Champ goes down easy.
Yeah, slow beam onto the Machamp is going to be the catalyst for that fight. So no, Reg Ice here for Mammo's moving co as they move towards this T1 gold zone. Dragon combo from the Garchomp, but they're going to have to retreat backwards. A lot of damage, and that T1's down. Barrage blow from the backline. Metagross hits them with a Meteor Mash. Here comes that Pyro Ball, and it's just the Machamp that falls somehow. Mammo moving co mostly stayed up. They did lose that Metagross, though.
Yeah, Metagross went down, and Cinderace is level 12 right now, Kyle. So the levels have certainly shifted back into Miltank Patroller's favor. And this game is still anybody's game at this point. I mean, I think some of the biggest things are going to be in the end game. Who does Slowbro target with a slow beam? And is it going to be enough? Because there's so much damage coming out from Miltank Patrollers that they could just decide to go for a full rip and then use that buff to obliterate the enemy side and score a ton of points. It's really anybody's game.
Cinderace is going to score 50 on the top side away from the fight. Nice mean look there is going to lock down this Machamp. Regieleki trying to walk towards this T2. Buzzwole on the defense, but 4 members of the moving co are there. Moving in on the Buzzwole. They go down. Regieleki finds its home, and T2 has fallen.
Yeah, I mean, I think that might have been a little bit of a misplay here for Miltank Patrollers, but they have maintained a decent score gap, not too far behind here. Garchomp, instead of trying to bother with the Regieleki fight, they just went and scored again in that tier 1 goal zone. Now Machamp looking for another 40, but they were caught out here. He tried to chase down by this Moltres, but that is a fast Pokemon.
Very fast. Only level 10, though, so we'd love to see some additional levels before we get towards the end game. Does hit that level 11. Now we see this top Reggie about to spawn. 30 seconds until our objective hits the map, though.
Yeah, with 30 seconds, I wonder if the moving co wants to really bother with it. It doesn't seem like they do. It's another Regice. Could give them a little bit of some extra HP throughout the fight, but I don't think they're super concerned. Instead, they would rather get ready, see if they can get some vision. It looks like Miltank Patrollers has already set themselves up here. Slowbro getting some good vision. They do hit a Scald on this Garchomp, so it kind of seems like everyone knows where everyone's hiding. Oh, Machamp getting caught in a mean look here is definitely not good. They have to use a Unite move.
Yeah, they do use the Unite move, but they still go down. Moltres in hot pursuit of the Cinderace. Kyogre already at half. Some Leech Life's hitting the mark, but Buzzwole goes down. Who's going to have this? Kyogre. Dodrio comes in with a triple trample. It's not enough. Slowbro able to secure it for Mammo's moving co.
Yeah, Dodrio honestly had a chance there, but like it did a weird little pathing with the Unite move. I think they might have been able to get in there, but either way, it was just like it went the way you would expect with a non-traditional full damage dealing team composition. You really can just kind of walk in with a team like Mammo's Moving Company has and start taking Pokemon down left and right. That's kind of what you'd expect, but it was a really good showing from Miltank Patrollers, especially on a composition like this, to put up as much of a fight as they did.
Honestly, they played really well, all things considered. I'm going to add the 1 because I think this one's all but over for Miltank Patrollers in game 1. But maybe, Husky, maybe this is a situation where they're trying to ban future picks and they're playing the long game. And we'll just see how they decide to line up game number 2 if they end up picking some different Pokemon away from Mammo's moving co. Although, I mean, the roster's so big in Unite now that I don't know. I don't know if that's the right strategy, if that is what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the fun of All-Star Draft. There might be
So fun.
a bunch of different strategies. Like I've been thinking about it, and it's possible that if you know of like a one-trick player on the other side, you don't even have to ban them out. You can just pick their thing, and then they'll never be able to use it for the rest of the set. So it is like I don't know. It is a strategy, I guess. There is something that happens with it, but. Yeah, Mammo's Moving Company going to go ahead and take game number 1. I think if Miltank Patrollers really locks in, they can definitely beat this team. I think it's just kind of one of those comp diff situations, and they were unfortunately unable to get all of their damage dealers to a significant point to be able to take an end game fight.
Yeah, I mean, and they did survive. Look at all these Kyos. Like, that's so tough.
Which one is
Uh,
actually Kyo? I don't
I
even
don't know. I have no clue. All of them. Maybe none of them. Maybe all of them.
none of them.
Only God knows.
That'd be crazy. I don't even know if God knows. I don't even know. I feel
Honestly,
like
you would be
God's a
probably
little
right.
confused, honestly.
Like,
I'll ask
what are
him.
you guys doing? Yeah. Pray about it or something. Ask God.
Yeah, what do
Who
people
is?
do these days? How do they get in
Yeah.
contact with that guy? I don't know.
I think
It's
it's
been hard to
this is
reach lately.
text line.
I think that there's now an LLM for it. I'm pretty sure, but it's behind a
Oh God,
paywall.
it's behind a paywall.
Actually, I think God recently visited Fox News, from what I've heard. So we should
Oh,
check in on that story. It could be
oh
really
my
interesting.
lord.
But yeah,
Uh,
some decent damage put up by both sides, some KOs. There was a lot of brawling, but I think it wasn't really like dealing damage kind of brawling. It was just kind of like scuffed the entire time. But I mean, Moltres, really solid Pokemon. I think we've seen Metagross do pretty well as well. But none of these Pokemon are going to be able to be picked in game number 2 due to All Star Draft.
it's true. That's 1000% true. I mean, I'm excited again. I'm like super excited about this mode. I think it's super fun. As the meta progresses, as players become more used to it, I think, like you said, there's going to be a ton of different strategies of how to attack this. It's like, okay, how many compositions do we need to have ready? How many picks do we need to have? Like the Pokemon pools that players and top players are going to need now, going to be a lot higher
Mm,
because, like you said, you can just take away a one trick in game number one, and then you can ban three other Pokemon. Like there's so
yeah.
many different things that you can do. So I'm excited to see kind of how it progresses, how the top teams attack the All Star mode. We can only hope that we get it at like NAIC and Worlds. I'm like fingers crossed, toes crossed, everything
Don't
is
talk
crossed.
about that. Never say that again. I never want to
I'll,
hear about your toes again. I hate that you reminded me that
that I
they
have
exist.
toes.
Yeah, that's so unfortunate. So here could be a hot take, and let me know if you agree with me, chat. Me and my sister have talked a lot about this. We don't think men should be allowed to wear flip-flops. Let me know what you let me know what you guys think. I don't think men should be allowed to wear flip-flops. At the very least, even if they go to the beach, I feel like they should wear those little webbed shoes. If
Okay.
not, just like fully wear sneakers. But I just don't really think they should be allowed to. Anyway, I don't think that we directly talked about it, even though in chat we've seen it. But earlier we got Zugrug raid, I believe. Big shout outs to them, and Ribbon
No.
also with the raid. Thank you guys so much. Big Underdunk vibes in the Dunkington community.
Huge.
What are we, the
We are gonna go
Dunkers?
the dunker. Well, they get the overdunk. They're the dunk heads.
The
So I
Dunk
don't know.
heads? Are we the? We could be
Yeah,
the Dunkingtons.
the Dunkingtons. Can we be
The
the dunk
Dunkingtons.
toes?
No,
Oh,
no,
we just
no, we
went over
cannot.
this. Sorry, I forgot.
No, and I hate
We
that
just
we
went over this. I
started to talk about
forgot.
it again.
Sorry.
I hate that we started talking about it again. Now I'm reminded that I even have feet, which is unfortunate as well. Game number 2, draft. Similar bands across the board so far. I imagine we might see all of the exact same bands. Snorlax off the board once again. Articuno also off the board again. But all these Pokemon that you see at the bottom of your screen here, not able to be picked in game number 2. So let's see what these teams end up doing.
Yeah, Charizard Y on the table. It seems like a very good power pick, and it's going to be immediately taken here from Miltank Patrollers. I love this Alchemy. I think this is a very strong pick. I think one thing that you'll have to be very aware of as an Alchemy against a Charizard Y is that Unite move. If they have it
Mm-hmm.
up, you need to wait that out. Otherwise, Charizard can just pick you out of that Fluffy Cream Supreme.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's gonna stop your cream right in the middle of the Supreme. So you really got to make sure that you're paying attention to it. Espeon as well. I think this is a pick that I've been kind of going back to as like a really solid attacker pick that can also be picked early pretty well and not be necessarily hard countered by the other side. So if you're not super sure yet, you don't know what defender you want to take, but you know you need some backline, Espeon I feel like is a really solid option, especially when we get into later drafts of All-Star Draft and we start, losing opportunities to pick certain Pokemon. Espeon just kind of becomes even more viable. And on the other side, Mew, which I also love to see, still a really great attacker.
Yeah, I mean, we tend to always see Mew at some point, so I think we'll continue to see this Pokemon until the end of time, until they nerf it into oblivion. I don't think that'll ever happen. I think Mew's just loved so much that it'll just always be at
Yeah, I
least
mean, it's still just like
semi-relevant.
it's Kit. Like you would have to make
Yeah,
it do no damage, and then like okay,
yeah.
like why? It's like that makes no sense. I love Mew. I have a tattoo of it. Um, so yeah,
We're gonna get the regular Charizard pick on that gutter position here for Mammo's
boneless
Moving Co.
char.
Boneless Char, no
Boneless char.
no Mega Evolution Stone. Gogeta asked in chat, can't Mamo team pick
That's
Machamp?
cute.
Oh, is that the real Kyo?
For real,
Um,
cute.
no. So with the All-Star mode, it's just gone forever until the next
Yeah,
round. Yeah, it's
never
just gone.
again.
No one can pick it.
Yeah, there was a different mode, I think, where if your team picked something, then it was only
Yeah. That's
absent
what
for
like what they
your
did at
team. But
ACL.
yeah, they've done similar, different types of all-star draft situations. But because the roster is so big, I think they made this mode just nobody can pick any of it, which I definitely like. I think that's really solid. But two interesting compositions here. I like that we start to see some interesting picks. We've got Boneless Char and Mega Char, so I'm excited to see how this one goes.
Boneless Char and Mega Char. Let's get into game number 2 of a round 2 Swiss action. Miltank Patroller is going to be down 1-0 here going into this one. We're going to see a couple of pink blobs head to the bottom path. Oh, wait. Are we getting a 3 or a 1-1-3? What is this?
Getting 1-1-3, or are we getting an invade? Looks like an invade here.
Okay,
Blissey
okay.
is going to head to the enemy central area, try to deal with the Boneless Char that's over on the other side. We have the Mega Char in this bottom path, so kind of playing as the attacker role, whereas you have Urshifu getting that level 5. Definitely a smart move. You want that level 5 on Urshifu as soon as possible because Cubfu is abysmal and absolutely useless.
See if this Blissey... Oh, they did get that blue buff, and they're going to continue putting on pressure for this Char. Are they going to be able to get that too? They do! That's absolutely criminal. Great start here for Miltank Patroller, stealing away some experience.
Yeah, I mean, Blissey taking the blue buff away and then able to really shut out this Charizard so far. It's only about 4.5, so it's going to have to take a lot of experience from its bottom path if it wants to get to that level 5. In the top path, the Patrollers moving forward here. We've got Water Bear already taking down the Lucario, going to get some big points in.
Big points in already, 30-18, and all of that deposited into this T1 on the top side. And the bottom side going pretty decently here for Mammo's Moving Co., despite losing a lot of their own central area. But look at this. Another invade, this time Urshifu and the Blissey. Mew going to try to salvage this top path, but here comes this Lucario. Elo Poppy going to try to take a KO. They do. 11 points in for Luca.
I mean, it's tough even when you are a Mew and you've got a light screen, you've got Surf potentially and the ability to push some Pokemon around. Still difficult as a squishy attacker to defend that goal zone all by your lonesome. So Mammo's Moving Company getting some points in. They take the score lead. Not by much. It is still in the early game, but both teams pretty even.
Even so far, her Shifu, though, going to be going towards a couple of Pokemon here. Luca versus the Urshifu. Luca's going to try to run away, caught in a blender of 3 Pokemon. Are we going to get that E-Ball onto him? So far, not yet. Oh, good play by Espeon, but the Flamethrower is going to chase him down.
Big flamethrower there. It is E-Speed Lucario as well. Yeah. So, notably not the Mega version. So, usually, boneless Lucario as well. 2 boneless Pokemon on Mammo's Moving Company. But since Mega Lucario can only use Power Up Punch, Running the boneless version of Lucario usually is done specifically to get access to that extreme speed. Nilopoppy is notably a very good player on the E-Speed Lucario, but so far not able to do too much. It is level 7 though, so not too bad either.
Not too bad. More points going in down here in the bottom path. Wigglytuff able to interrupt that 30 from going on in, but they're going to get met with resistance. Espeon and Squirtle able to put a little bit of a stop to that. Charizard going down. The boneless Charizard going down. Urshifu now going to look to take down that Regirock, but wow, the Lucario able to steal that away from Mammo's Moving Co.
Yeah, that's big. Definitely
crazy.
a big play for them. They're probably going to be able to want to break this goal zone. Charizard harassing just a little bit. Some flames hitting that Lucario, but they are going to be able to put 37 points in, extend their score lead a little bit more. And clearly this team is looking to 2-0 Miltank Patrollers.
They're definitely looking pretty good so far. That steal there was pretty nice. I mean, I feel like Miltank Patrollers, if they get that objective, they can kind of continue pushing, but Nilopoppy with a really fantastic play there. And now they're going to pivot down towards this bottom path where Regieleki is waiting for them. All 5 members there. Charizard Y going to score on the top path, but boneless Charizard and boneless Lucario going to take down Regieleki for them.
I mean, it's just Wigglytuff down here right now. I don't think Miltank Patrollers is really trying to get into fights. It seems like they've kind of pseudo score comp decision at this point. Instead, focusing on that top path, they do break that goal zone, 134 points. But it looks like Mammo's Moving Co. not ready to stop just yet. They want to potentially put more points in this bottom path.
Yeah, they're going to keep going, looking for this T2. Cake is set up. Here comes Charizard with the Mega Unite move. They don't take the Alchemy, but they're going to take this fight. Alchemy going to run away. Regular Charizard also going down. Blastoise is going to be next on the chopping block. Urshifu takes care of them both. A third KO is found by that Blissey, and now Miltank Patrollers is making the counter push. They're going towards this T1. Espeon Alchemy holding it down. Now Miltank Patrollers sees the writing on the wall. They're going to farm their experience.
Yeah, a little bit of an overextension there for Mammo's Moving Co. I think they thought they could definitely take a fight and pretty easily win, but with all the healing that you've got from that goal zone, and then, you know, both Charizards were in the air at the same time, just not quite enough damage to be able to fully win that fight, but they did extend their score lead a little bit more. One of the Kyos getting chased down here on that Blissey. They likely will go down eventually.
Okay.
Yeah, they will go down.
Eventually. And now we have a second Regirock here for Mammo's Moving Co. They're going to move towards this one. Everybody going to converge. Espeon's going to get the secure on that. So 2 for 2 on these Regirocks.
Yeah, but the levels are really similar. Like Charizard just hit that level 12. Urshifu has already been level 12. Levels are very similar across the board. Wow, look at this.
Push.
A bit of a sneaky play here for Mammo's Moving Co. Kind of caught Miltank Patrollers lacking. Instead, they're going to try to do the same thing and move toward the tier 2 goal zone in that top half.
Oh, perfect safeguard there from Blissey allows some additional scores to go on in. Now the counter with the Charizard v Charizard Unite moves, and the Mega Y is going to come out on top of that. Or sorry, the regular one's going to come out on top on that one.
Boneless Charizard wins.
Boneless Charizard somehow is winning. Yeah, 326, 253 here. We have another Regieleki down on the bottom path. If Mammo's Moving Co. wants to go for it, they definitely could extend their lead.
It was kind of a smart move for Miltank Patrollers, honestly, to just pivot and try to get points in of their own. I don't really think they expected the push to happen, but now that has set up Mammo's Moving Co. to be in a pretty advantageous spot. They will be able to take this Regieleki as well. The Blastoise Surf's the one to confirm that. And maybe they want to go for a push. I'm not sure that it would work super well for them. No, it looks like they are just going to kind of hang out, look for some vision.
Yeah, there's nothing to be had in the central area. Blastoise is going to go full bore into the speed flux zone, try to buy some time for their teammates to maybe get out. Blastoise will perish. And it does look like Miltank Patroller is just going to try to defend this. We have 2:45 on the clock, so we have a little bit of time before our main objective. And Mammo's Moving Co., they're going to look towards this top objective. We'll see if it's another Regirock, and they could go 3 for 3.
Yeah, the way that Miltank Patroller's been playing, I'm not surprised at all to see them wanting to push into this tier 1 goal zone, potentially break it. Looks like Alchemy has been able to see them. They're going to want to get that 50 in, potentially even try to wait until the double score ends up hitting the map. But Registeel, that's going to be a big buff here for Memos Moving Co. as if they needed the extra attack boost. Instead, they are just going to get that 50 points in. Alchemy is going to let it happen, and we've got a very close battle on our hands.
Only 19 points going to separate these two squads. Kyogre has hit the map. Boneless Charizard is making its way through that top path back towards their side. Wigglytuff might have a little bit of vision, but they're going to find out it's not everybody with Miltank Patrollers that's with them.
Yeah, both teams just kind of dancing around. I don't know if I forgot to check what was the ping, if it was close battle or lead. What is it? It'd be close battle because it's less than 20 points. Yeah.
Yep.
So neither team knows who's in the lead, but they're still just going to dance around. Mew has the benefit of being able to poke pretty easily with that solar beam, taking some damage down. Belissi now also taking some poke damage here. They should be able to pretty easily get themselves healthy once again as well. And nobody really wants to make an engagement yet.
I think Miltank Patrollers knows that this Registeel buff could be the end of them, so they don't want to engage just yet. Lucario's going to score 70 on the bottom side in the T2. We start to have some Unite moves go. Alchemy going to set up the cake. Charizards are taken to the sky. 1v1. They make a Charizard Y is going to take out that Alchemy. That's the first Pokemon to fall. Blastoise is going to push this Mew backwards, but they're going to go down. Charizard Y in the back line is able to take a double KO, and Blissey able to safeguard and keep them away from Elo Poppy.
Wow, it was the evolution, like the de-evolution, and then the safeguard immediately that ends up saving them there. Boneless Charizard is returned, but immediately goes down. Lucario can't quite get in, just too much damage, but it looks like Miltank Patroller is actually going to have to back off of the Kyogre. Mammo's Moving Company currently in the lead with only 20 seconds left.
They don't really have a whole lot of rip, so very unfortunate given the situation. But now Kyogre's very low, looking for secure E-Ball on the Mew, but it's actually Charizard.
Is it enough?
That gets it. I don't know if they're going to be able to get it. How much points does Mew have?
How many points does Mew?
Not going to get there. 36, not going to do
36? Yeah, only 36 points. It's not going to be enough. I don't know why. I guess they couldn't really peel away there to try to go score. Only Mew could get it, but what an end game. I mean, Miltank Patrollers won that fight, just not enough rip to be able to finish it off, and Mammo's Moving Company in a nail-biter of a game, too, will be able to take this series 2-0.
Wow, just like very good patience there from Mammo's Moving Co. And I think, the detriment to the Miltank Patrollers composition was in that moment. They just didn't have a lot of rip to take the Kyogre off the map, right? Or Shifu was down. Charizard was like on 1 HP. And not much a Mew, a Wigglytuff, and a Blissey could do about the Kyogre. So unfortunately, and you saw how much points that they had in pocket. They didn't have a whole lot. Even once they got that Kyogre, eventually Mew only had 18 points in pocket. So not going to be enough. So congrats to Mammo's Moving Co. They're moving on with a nice 2-0 victory here in round 2.
Yeah, what a good set. An interesting game number 1 and an even more interesting game number 2 here. But both squads of Kyos doing pretty well to end up with that game. I'm starting to see some of the interesting strategies coming out in the All-Star draft and kind of what teams are prioritizing. And it lets us see some more of those boneless Pokemon that we've kind of forgot about after the Megas have been released.
Yeah. Very fun set though. Eventually we will see a Feraligatr. I'm sure of it at some point.
I'm sure. I'm sure eventually.
I want to see it. I want to see this thing just like crawl around the Thea Sky map, and it's just so funny looking. Like when it's in its unit.
Yeah.
It's kind of creepy, honestly.
Yeah. An interesting one, for sure. We had some good damage, some good solid stats across the board, but ultimately, we're gonna end up with Mammo's Moving Co. taking this one, and that's round 2. I'm trying to look at what information we have about the rest of round 2, how that's going. It looks like Smoothies Kittens has won another set. This team looked really good in set number 1 when we saw them. Looks like so far Dark Toast has won 1 game over Pirate of Sky Ruins. No Clue has also won 1 game so far. And we haven't gotten any information about the CC Yellow match yet. But so yeah, we're still rocking and rolling in round 2.
Rock and rolling. Yeah, so we're going to take a quick break, see if we could maybe get a game number 3 in one of these sets. We'll see if that does come to fruition. So don't go too far, folks. It's going to be more Underdunk as we move forward in our night. We still have 2 full rounds, maybe a game 3 upcoming of this round number 2. So don't go too far. We'll get set up and we'll be back very, very soon. And what? Alrighty, and welcome back, trainers. We're finally back. For some reason, it took forever to get us to our round 3, but we are eventually here. Husky is gone, but I have brought GX2, and obviously big shout out to a nice little raid there. And GX, how's it going today? How are you doing, my friend? Locked in. Well, let's keep it going. We're gonna see Pirate of Sky Ruins and Psy, two teams I believe that are, if I'm looking at the records correctly, have done pretty decent. Both 1-1, so they lost, I believe, their first round, won their second. So both of these squads definitely looking to try to get into that above 500 category. As far as the format today, this is our first all-star mode draft Underdunk tournament. We were previously, if you're aware, we've been following the UCS format. People want to play all-star mode, so we're going to give the people what they want. It's been going pretty well today so far. We've seen a lot of, kind of unique picks that you don't often see in the main mode. So I'm excited to see what we're going to bring out in our first first game of round 3. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, players are going to have to pivot and get deep Pokemon pools and, like you said, have different tools in their bag for different situations, because you're going to see a lot. You're not going to see the same things every time. Obviously, you can't, because they're going to be not available in game 2 or game 3 or, in some of the later round matchups as we get into the later seasons, maybe game 4 or game 5. So I'm super excited to see how this progresses, but let's go ahead. Let's get into our round number 3, as I need to update that part of the overlay, but round number 3, and we're going to see Pirate Sky Ruins going to be on your purple side. Psy going to be on your orange. Okay. I imagine that they may save it towards the end to try to counter what Psy is doing, but immediately we are going with that Machamp. So I wouldn't be super surprised if Psy pivots towards a Blissey pick mid-draft. I'm honestly surprised that we're not seeing it come out right away. Does give Pirate Sky Ruins the opportunity to grab a Blissey. But Psy does have a couple of power picks, that Charizard Y as well as that Umbreon, 2 Pokemon who are oftentimes picked.
Somebody. We're going to find out who it is shortly. But meanwhile, on Psy's team, they got some power picks right now. They got Charizard Y, they got Umbreon. They're probably going to pick a Healing Sport. They got Moltres. This is going to be a tough team to take down. So these last 2 picks from the Pirates, it has to be OD.
Yeah, and apologies, Chad. I accidentally did not enable GX's audio, so I was talking to myself for the first, minute or 2.
I've done that mistake. I can't tell you how many times. I hate it when it happens.
Well,
I can't hear this guy.
We're firing. Exclamation point fired in chat. We're firing production once again, a 7th time. In the broadcast, so it's a trend that we're following here. We do see this Moltres come out, which I'm super excited about. I'm not super excited about. It's really like one of my least favorite Pokemon to play against. I am excited to cast it though.
Yeah, Moltres it's all about its boosted auto attack. It fires it off and just gets another chance at one of its moves. It gets another sky attack. It gets another overheat sky attack. When you dive into multiple mons, its defenses increases. Its defense is special defense. It goes up per mon hit. Overheat. It hits people, does damage, and it starts slowly healing passively. So, and you get 2 chances at that. That's why it just lives so long. And you pair with the healing support with Blissey and half healing support like an Umbreon with a Wish that does damage reduction, and you just have a Moltres that's just there forever. So, yeah.
This is going to be scary. It's going to be very scary. And they do grab, like I said, that Blissey to maybe slow down that Machamp. So I would very much imagine that we are going to see a Safeguard Helping Hand version of the Blissey. Wouldn't be shocked, obviously, Machamp being able to kind of take them down. Also have that bonus of being able to cleanse the Ice Fangs from the Mamoswine. I am absolutely terrified if I'm Pirate, because this Moltres just seems like such a raid boss, especially if it gets those levels. But let's get into game number 1 of our round number 3. Pirate of Sky Runes on your purple, Sai going to be on your orange.
Yeah, right now we're going to have Machop and a Comfy heading up to the top. At the bottom, we're going to have Mamoswine and an Espeon, always a solid pick. That's going to be a bottom lane that's tough to beat. Over at the top, we're going to have Moltres and Chansey with the egg moving on in. And at the bottom, we're going to have Umbreon and Mew. Umbreon's going to peel back over, trying to get its level 4 early, it looks like, or at least weaken the farm for the Char Y to start heading over in the lane.
Yeah, not too bad.
That just leaves Mew to hold it down, yeah.
Not too bad of a start. I mean, see if they're going to be able to close out a lot of this experience, and it does look like the Swinub was able to be pretty successful in that mission. Machop, along with the Pocket Comfey, going to try to brawl with this Moltres, not going so well for them, but Moltres does get away to safety, and they're going to live to fight another day.
Yeah, Moltres just needs to survive till it's level 5. That's when it really gets going. Its early game's a little bit weak, but it has its support there. It's going to manage. Ideally, the jungle is going to rotate towards the top. But right now, we're going to have teams fighting for the center. I do like they're not leaving any farm off the table. Just get all of it. It's all important.
Got it. 850 birds now. Going to be up in both paths. Moltres along Blissey. Going to counter this Machop Comfey so far. No one really making a move either way. Umbreon's going to put the Serena in a mean look. That's going to be the first KO to fall in this game. Swinub falls shortly after.
Yeah, you don't really want your Serena to be going down first. That's the mon everyone's basically pocketing on the team. So you really want to keep your levels. You want to get you secures. You actually want to start stacking when you start winning in your lane. So bit of a rough start there for Serena.
Yeah, definitely want to get your level 6 as fast as possible. So we'll see if it can, get up towards those levels. You definitely want your level 5 on this Moltres. Hasn't been able to get it yet. Now ticks into it. So now we're going to start working. And that is going to be a KO there as the Machoke goes down. This Comfey going to grab that Citrus Berry, just able to survive, but they're not going to be able to prevent all of these points from going in.
Yep, this Moltres getting some stacks in. I believe overheat stacks absolutely with the special attack, but does the healing as well? It should, in my opinion. So they're going to pivot over here to Regidrago. Most teams are around. They don't want to leave that off the table. Serena is level 7. It's being enhanced. It has its Comfey, getting some good damage. It hasn't really taken any damage itself. Getting a pick right there for Blissey. Next is on the chopping block is Mew, and it just can't get away yet. And that's going to be another KO for the team.
Yeah, pretty good KOs there for Pirate. Now they're going to pivot towards this bottom path, 23, followed by maybe this 30. We'll see if they decide if they want to go ahead and break this goal zone. It looks like they're going to leave it on 1 HP. Great math right there.
Mathematical. That's what it's all about. I believe they just want a constant stream of experience. Top tier 1 has already been broken. That's fine. That's the one you actually want to be broken. More farm actually spawns up at the top as opposed to the bottom. So good choice.
Reggie Steele down in the bottom path. Should be easy pickings for Pirate of Sky Ruins. They're going to see if they can maybe score on that T1, but instead, this Regieleki walking towards T2, so they're going to at least have to respond to at least a couple members there. This Regidrago's still up. Mew might have been a little bit early, but Moltres able to secure that Drago. Now going to look towards this Serena. Charizard Y ticks into their Unite move, and that's going to be an easy double KO for them. Sai on the offensive looking to siege this T1.
Yep, and Charizard could even score in that animation.
Yeah.
Getting him some much-needed ult charge.
As an even break. So maybe not the best break for them, but they're going to pay for it with some time and space. 30 points in on the bottom side. And, 6 minutes left in this match, 4 minutes in, 119 to 190. Sai has looked, pretty decent despite losing that basement objective. They have come around, and these Unite moves are all online.
Yeah, I've been watching this team for the different leagues, for like San Lotus or Otokun League. They are a very brawl heavy comp. So Moltres is always going to be a coveted pick. Support to enhance it, like a Blissey, for example, is always going to be a coveted pick. This is the main MO. Moltres is sitting there interestingly. I wonder if he crashed. So they'll let us know if something happens. But I hope. Wait, he's on the move. All right, we're good.
Yeah, just needed to have a snack or something. They're pretty fed, right? They're still level 9, so they didn't necessarily need to have a hand on the control the whole time. Umbreon going to steal away some shields with their Moonlight Prance as 4 members looking to go in on this T1 Blissey Unite move from downtown. Serena's going to pick up the Charizard, throw them down, trying to stomp on through Sai, but Serena's the one that's going to go falling back to the Pokemon Center. Great little side shock there from Espeon. Charizard hits their Unite move button, and Espeon, Mamoswine both go down, and Sai turn the tables of that fight and take full advantage.
Yeah, it looks like so far there was just like a gap in logic. Char Y is still one hell of a mod. It's still very powerful. It's a very good board breaker, and everyone's kind of hungering around like their Machamp or their Serena, the pillars of their offense. And like once that's just taken out of the equation, it just begins to fall apart. You have one engine missing, and just Charizard Y is just great for ending that. But it looks like we're gonna have to do a pause here. Someone's actually might have crashed for real this time, so we're gonna. We're gonna hopefully it's not the Moltres. It might be somebody else. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to see exactly what happened. But yeah, it definitely seemed like the Moltres was having some connectivity issues. Yeah, level 9. So they are falling a little bit behind, kind of the levels of the other teams. That leads me to believe it was likely them. We'll see. We'll kind of see how we go, right? We're halfway through this match. And, just looking at the field state while we have a little bit of time before we get these reconnected and back in lobby, we have both objectives up. And I mean, you see where Sai is positioned. Blissey is grabbing some vision on where Pirate is, but the rest of Sai looks like they really want to go for this top objective.
Yeah, they're looking for a team fight. Charizard doesn't have its ult quite yet. It might just tick into it. We don't know, like into the very next second. It is currently level 12, so every time it's just dealing with like a Serena, ideally, or a Machamp, and it's just getting good value out of it every time, and it's just snowballing ahead. Let's see if they can pretty much keep this up.
Yeah, they're going to certainly have to try there. I mean, like you said, the Charizard is really the catalyst of Sai's composition right now. You see every time that they have their Unite move, you're seeing how they're able to turn the tides of really any fight, right? I think the big thing that you probably have to look out for if you're that Charizard is that Serena Unite move. So you just have to be careful because that's something that can really flip the script on you pretty easily, especially if Charizard gets in kind of like that danger HP range because you don't really have a true healer. I think Umbreon had some heals with Wish, but if you get low, that Serena can really isolate and just like really take that Charizard down. And being the level leader in the lobby, it's a lot of L's. That's a lot of experience that you would yield back over to that Pokemon.
Yeah, absolutely. But speaking more on that dynamic, it is true that Serena could get its hands on you, but it really needs like a range attacker kind of like follow through with like the damage that Serena's putting out. Yeah. They have the Blissey there for safety. They have the Umbreon there for safety. So it's going to be really hard to like truly put Charizard like wide down unless its health is like already low.
Looking for a secure. Mew's going to be on E-Ball here. They're going to nail it. Absolutely perfect there. However, they're going to get grabbed by the submission Machamp. Going to try for one more go. Another E-Ball is going to send Machamp packing. Yep. Mewsted Auto is going to send the Mamoswine back. And that is a perfect fight there for Sai. Now they're looking to push this T2. Regieleki is going to likely find its home. Look at all this Aeos energy that's going to go in.
Right, let's see. Let's do some math here. Who's going to score first? I believe Charger's going to score last. Try to get some more picks. They can't stand on this pad. There's no real advantage there anymore. It's just an open space. Now it's a vacant lot. So there it is.
open lot there. Machamp's still in the Pokemon Center. Serena trying to hide in the tall grass. Can't hide for too long. Charizard able to pick them up, send them back to the Pokemon Center with that Unite move and a flamethrower to boot. Espeon going to try to salvage whatever they can. Mew on the bottom side scores a cheeky 40 points. Also going to be able to surf away to safety. Off screen, though, Machamp was able to take 2 KOs of their own.
Oh, yeah, he got good value on the Moltres, so you always want to take him down, get some levels back. He's level 12. He's about to tick into 13. Well, a little pretty soon. At level 13, that's very important for Machamp. It's running cross chop, so it needs to get cross chop stacks. The more stacks he has, which ends at 40, the more attack he does, which means the more damage he's dealing. So that's going to be very important for Machamp, especially when he uses his ultimate.
Yeah, it's going to be very important. 45 seconds until our Groudon, I believe. Yeah, we're on the Groudon map. We have basement objective up. We have a Regidrago up. However, Regidrago will despawn in about 5 seconds, so that will be of no use to anybody right now. Great little engage from the Machamp. Serena able to take out the Mew, who's caught out of position, and now Sai gonna have to full retreat, and Pirate's gonna take advantage, and they're gonna take this Regirock going into the Groudon.
Yep, that is a coveted buff. The buff's going to last about a minute. Extra defenses, special defenses, very important. Might be very useful coming into this Char Y fight. It might not take you down as quickly. Serena will appreciate that.
Yeah. Here we go. Oh,
no.
great submission
Oh,
right there.
no.
Charizard's down with no Unite move. Umbreon forced to try to salvage some of these shields. They do. However, Blissey goes down. Espeon on the offensive. Here comes a Solar Beam from Mew in the back line. Are they going to be able to hold on to anything? Serena the only one down. And now Pirate of Sky Runes looking to take down Groudon. Umbreon still looking for a steal. Groudon at half. And Mew and the bottom side. I'm not sure what ability that they're on, but they are going to be looking for a steal here. Very low HP submission and to a cross shot for this Machamp. Groudon very dangerously low. Blissey here now. We're going to see who has the secure. Here comes Serena Mew from downtown, but Pirate's able to take it.
Oh my. Charizard walked into the bush. I'd imagine it's like, oh, I'm gonna get an ult in right away. You know what I mean? It's been going that way the entire game, but Machamp pulled the trigger first, and it just snowballed from there. He got a meat submission.
Yeah, we still have to get some points in. They're still down by a little less than 100, so another Hundo Burger could do the trick. Gonna try to brawl on this T2 before that happens. Mew's gonna throw a Solar Beam. That's not gonna be enough. 6 points in from the Serena. Eventually, this Hundo Burger Serve Fresh Pirate is now gonna be up here. Another Solar Beam from the Mew, but that's not going to be enough. Now they're going to go full retreat, get back to their side to hold on for one more defensive stand.
Charizard already uses Unite, so it won't have that to rely on for the rest of the game, and I don't think they don't have the damage to fight back. I think this is a wrap here for game one. Good stuff to Pirates, though.
Yeah,
they found their target. He just walked in the front door asking, hey, what's going on over here? And just got annihilated for it.
Yeah.
Probably have your other Mons bush check. You have Mew for Solar Beam. You have Umbreon to walk in. It can Unite to save itself. You have Blissey. Let the other Mons do the bush checking. You're there to like fall from their place. So that's a bit of a mistake there. But you live and you learn.
That's going to be it for game number 1. 4 KO is going to close us out for Machamp. And Pirates going to take this set 1-0 going into game number 2. Wasn't looking good for them for so long, especially in the team fight category, but Silent Rain picking up that perfect play on that Charizard Y to kick off that Groudon fight.
It had to be Charizard Y. Oh no. The one mon you don't want. The main core of the offense of your team went down first. That is never a good feeling coming into a Groudon fight. But yeah, like once again, you live and you learn. Good stuff. The Pirate King, they capitalize off of mistakes. That's just what you have to do sometimes. Yeah. This is a game. It's a series of coincidences. So you have to like learn to be receptive to and react to certain coincidences that happens in the game.
Yeah, I mean, very true. Yeah, I'm looking at these damage numbers. I think the Moltres was really good. I think the only thing that really went wrong for Sai was that like one moment, and it's just something that you have to be ready
that
for.
One moment.
You know, like you just kind of have to be ready for it. And unfortunately, Pirates, they were ready for him, and Sai wasn't ready for that play from Machamp.
Yeah, I imagine that maybe Char Y wanted to like just wait in that bush preemptively because I believe Parakeets they secured the Regirock before like the ground appeared. So I would imagine that the rest of side, like having vision on that, would just be waiting at the bottom side of
Yeah.
the ground on pit, but they weren't in position for that, which is a little bit weird. So Charizard kind of like put that responsibility on himself and thinking, hey, I have my ult, I could probably just grab somebody and start the team fight that way. But hey, Pirates pulled the
Yeah.
trigger first, and like that's how it goes.
Gotta love it. I'm excited to see what we get in game number 2. For those just tuning in, reminder that we are on All-Star mode. So the Pokemon that you saw in game number 1, they're gone. We're not seeing them again this set. So no Moltres, no Machamp again. Despite how broken it is, it's not getting played in game number 2 for either team. So it is a little bit of a different format than your traditional, for those that aren't aware of the All-Star mode, a little bit different than your traditional fearless style draft where it's just the one team, they can't play a Pokemon twice. This is if a Pokemon gets picked, nobody can pick it. So very excited to see how this game number 2 is going to line up, especially in the draft. I think the bans likely will probably stay the same though.
Yeah, and I imagine so, due to the All Star
Yeah.
draft. So far, you don't really see too much of a change right now. It's like round 1, round 2. You really start to see it in like 4 and 5, and like at that point, an entire classification could be just eliminated. If it gets long enough, you're very likely to see like no defenders or no supports like just available since there's just less mons in those pools. There's
Sure.
always plenty of attackers. There's always plenty of all-arounders, and that's by design. It's a given ratio. Like when X number of like all-arounders or attackers are available, then like, oh, here's a new support defender or like speedster. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, you have to watch out for that in later rounds.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that. I'm excited also to see once we get into our post tournament wrap up and once we get the data from this evening. I'm excited to see kind of what the numbers say of kind of how the teams have attacked their draft strategy. But with that said, let's get into our draft strategy for game number 2. As you see on the bottom side of the screen, those are the Pokemon that were picked in game number 1. So those will not be available here in game number 2. Bans, anything is on the table. I mean, obviously, you don't want to ban stuff that was previously played. I mean, I guess you could, but maybe if you just want to have a throwaway ban. But Alchemy, Psyduck, not going to be played either.
And let's see what else they banned. Typhlosion being banned.
Yeah.
It's one of the quote unquote winners of the recent patch. They have buffed the damage on Eruption, so it might be more respectable, along with Aracuna here is actually quote unquote one of the losers of the patch. I believe the Blizzard does actually less damage, so I'm surprised seeing a ban here. They probably don't want to deal with it. It can steamroll a lane because it gets to choose when it freezes bonds, so they're just getting off the table.
Yeah, it's one of those Pokemon that I absolutely despise going against in Path because exactly what you said, like the freezes are insane, especially with how long that they last and everything like that. But we are going to see Feraligatr get banned here, and this is a Pokemon that
Again.
I really wanted to see play tonight, but it's been banned pretty much every match.
Yeah, I really want to see the Johto starters. They
Yeah.
keep getting banned.
Yeah.
But that means that's a testament to how powerful they are. But speaking of power, we're going to have a first pick. Jade's going to be on Snorlax. I believe right now, due to Blastoise being toned down a bit, more in line with the other defenders, I wholeheartedly believe that right now Snorlax is the best defender. And even back before when Blastoise was on top, the one of the defenders that could counter Blastoise was Snorlax with block. So
That's
he's always
exactly
a
right.
high value pick.
Yeah, I mean, you even look at the top picks from our last Underdunk, picked 60% of the time, 164. So I think the stats back up your claim. So yeah, don't blame Jade for picking this Pokemon in that number 1 spot. I love that Vanguard Bell on it. Gives it that additional self-sustain that's super valuable. I do like the kind of pivot here from Psy to go with this Miraidon. I think Miraidon actually does quite well into Snorlax as long as they can kind of stay protected away from it. I also love this Mr. Mime because Snorlax has that really good early game. A Pokemon that also has a pretty good early game is that Mime because they could throw that light screen and kind of prevent Snorlax from hitting those last hits.
Yeah, just if the light screen appears on the monitor, it gets stunned. It doesn't take damage, but it gets stunned for like a healthy amount of time, and then it's just it needs to secure with the boosted, for example, or your partner secures it. Then just it gets to play for level 4 when like it has confusion and it could just push you into a wall and stun you even further. And it creates walls, so it's a positive feedback loop there.
Yeah, it really is. Latias for Sai gets selected. I think it's the first time we're seeing that Pokemon tonight. And we're going to see the Decidueye from Professor Malice. So this is a Pokemon that did quite well during the last chance qualifiers, specifically for Thanksgiving, who took this Pokemon so many times throughout that entire tournament and looked absolutely insane with it. They don't have your traditional supporter, but Haika is actually going to play that Suicune, which is another Pokemon that did receive some nerfs in that more recent patch.
Yeah, it kind of needed it. Suicune is just fundamentally strong, so like there's no really nerfing it. You'd have to change its kit, which they won't really do. That's like for extreme cases. It's there as like a good mage that has decent bulk. And pivoting back to the Decidueye, I believe Decidueye is like the best like sniper in the game. It has such good value. It can target through multiple opponents. It has Shadow Sneak to scope out anyone hiding in the area. Does good damage. And if you don't want to play that moveset, you have the Razor Leaf build, which is my personal favorite. Not as popular because being able to outrange your opponents is such a strong like characteristic to have. And they're going to need it to like compete with the Miraidon that's going to be charging the opposition. It's going to be charging your Snorlax. It's going to be charging your Suicune and your Garchomp. So you need to kind of like bite back to like create passivity from your Miraidon.
You're also going to have to be very careful about this Leafeon that's going to be in hot pursuit of this Decidueye. Let's get into game number 2, Pirate of Sky Ruins. They are going to be up 1-0 going into this game. They are going to be on your purple side. Sai going to be down a game. They're going to be on your orange side, and they are going to be taking that Leafeon Central.
Well, another thing with Decidueye, it is a bit of a late bloomer, so the Snorlax is a good lane partner with it. Right now, Mr. Mime is invading, so they have to really capitalize on getting the farm here. Like, be aggressive. Realize there's only one of them, so they might peel Snorlax back to help out the jungler. You don't want your jungler being behind in any sort of way. Right now, actually, no one's coming to help them. They just tell me, hey, you just got to win your 1v, son.
Unfortunately, they are going to lose at least a red buff to this Mime, but here comes Suicune to try to help them out. Here comes the Leafeon, fresh off of their central area clear, and they're going to get a KO on the enemy central area Pokemon. And this is a great start here for Sai.
Yep. No one peeled for the
there we go.
Early enough. Well, Decidueye got a KO, but you have to send someone to peel for him. Realize that Charcadet starts to pop up at 5, and like it's very vulnerable, especially when you have a Leafeon that's the enemy jungler. He doesn't need to wait till level 5. He can just get his level 4 and start walking his way over, especially if you invade. So you have to like think about that sort of stuff. They have the lane partners to actually have good peel. They have the Suicune, they have the Snorlax, but they just peel too late.
Great eject button from the Cerulege to ensure the KO on the Latias, and they're going to salvage this top path as Leafeon continues the invade of the Pirate Sky Ruins central area. So really good heads-up play there from this Leafeon to make sure that they're going to continually put pressure on the enemy central area. It's going to be very valuable as we continue forward.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a slow start. They have 3 Mons on Pirates team that are late scalers. They have the Decidueye, they have Charcadet, they have Cerulege at this point, they have Garchomp. So their early game's going to be a little bit slow here. So Sai definitely has that advantage.
Great heavy slam there from Jade to make sure that Malice was able to hit that last bit of wild Pokemon. They're also going to take the KO onto the Mr. Mime and get Professor Malice away from the Lucario. So they're doing a pretty good job of keeping this Decidueye from going back to the Pokemon Center so far.
Yeah, right now it's time for Regidrago. It's been here about 30 seconds. Each team was more interested in getting some levels, getting some kills. Leafeon's almost at level 8. That is going to be very dangerous. So, like, they might have to be aggressive on him when possible. He took some damage. Leafeon might get the secure here. It's now level 8. This is pretty bad. You can't really contest this lane right now. It has an ultimate over you.
Here comes Leafeon with that Unite move.
Speaking of which, there it is.
Yeah, they're going to take out that Suicune and going to chase this Garchomp back to the Speed Flux zone, deposit another 15 points, charge that Unite up a little bit more. Razor Leaf's going to hit. Silent Rain's going to try to run away, but you cannot hide from this Leafeon. More points in. Decidueye
Oh,
hits that.
Decidueye. Oh, that's a pick. That's a pick. Yes.
Oh, he gets the
Yes,
KO on
yes.
the Leafeon. Oh, that's criminal.
Yep. Decidueye biding its time, staying at bottom lane, staying up, getting its levels. All right, I have my moves. I have Shadow Sneak. I have Snipe Shot. Sorry, Spirit Shackle. We can
I
start
always
making
get
some
the
plays.
same thing. I always do that
It's a
too.
sniping tool. I always mix them up.
I know. I
Oh,
always
it's
call
it has to
Snipe
be
Shot
Snipe
Spirit Shackle, and I call Spirit
Yeah.
Shackle Snipe Shot. Man, yeah, I'm with you on that. That happens to me way too frequently. Lucario v the Snorlax down the bottom path. Meanwhile, Garchomp ripping through this Regidrago. Going to try to peel towards this Lucario, who's going to have to run away. Regieleki, not Regidrago. Not going to reset. They're going to actually full out take that, and that's going to go ahead and walk towards T1.
All right. Well, we have Leafeon back, getting some scoring and then getting some really good ult charge. It should have its ultimate in about a second. Being very aggressive here into the farm. There is the heavy stun from Snorlax, but Garchomp has ulted in, cleaning up the Leafeon. Mr. Mine's like out of position, getting heavy slam once again. Such a good move, but it won't be able to escape. There is the KO from the Suicune. Double KO from Decidueye, and they're going to be able to get some scores in.
Good stuff.
A bit of a mathematical mistake there. I wonder if they're just going to give Sarah some stacks.
Yeah, might have been a miscalculation there. But either way, they're going to continue on the invade towards the central area. Unite move from the Latias, another one from the Leafeon, and Ceruledge is going to go ahead and match that. 2 KOs falls. Miraidon going to throw some meteors down to try to salvage this central area. Garchomp able to run away for the time being, and they're actually going to go away. Lucario not chasing them down yet.
All right, we're firmly in the mid game, literally halfway through. So this is what the kind of shortcoming of the composition side has come up with. They have a lot of early scaling bonds, Leafeon being the ideal one. Yeah. And it can provide value throughout the game, but like, it's going to lose steam to these later scaling bonds that now have their levels. They can now resist. They can now like have the health pool to like live through everything that Leafeon's bursting down and just really clap back. So Leafeon has to tread carefully now.
Yeah, you'd also love to have your Lucario, the Mega Lucario, a little bit higher. Right now, kind of trailing the majority of the Pirate team's squad, right? Only level 9. You have your Decidueye, 11, 10 for the Lax, 11 for the Garchomp. It's not looking so hot. They're going to love to get a little bit of value out of this one. Here comes Lucario with the Mega Evolution. Power-up punch is going to charge. They're going to hit the close combat. Going to take down the Suicune, but knock, who's there is Decidueye returning the favor, finding the Latias. And now Pirate's going to move on forward. Garchomp with a double KO. Leafeon caught in a bind, forced to Unite move. Are they going to get away to safety? Decidueye sends them all the way back to the Pokemon Center. And Pirate going to come out ahead in this fight.
One thing I'm really appreciating that Decidueye is doing, it's positioning, and more so when it chooses to reveal itself. Sometimes it's just waiting in bush and staying out of vision, and it's causing Leafeon like, all right, I don't see Decidueye. I have to provide value for my team. I'm the highest level. We have to do something. I have to stop the bleeding. But when Leafeon decides to do that, then Decidueye comes out in with a Spirit Shackle and creating so much entry damage against the team. So really appreciate the play from Decidueye right now.
Oh, Snorlax might get caught here. They do. Lucario's going to take that KO. 3:05 on the clock, and Sai is looking to find some value on the map. They're going to be on the Pirates' side of the map to try to steal away any wild Pokemon that they can. They want to get those levels up. They have that score lead, though, right? 189.90, but the levels... Yeah, they're kind of uneven right now.
They tell a different story. Yeah. It's going to be tough. They're going to be tough to fight head-to-head, and this comp wants to engage. It has the Snorlax Heavy Slam. It has the Garchomp to run in with an all-over Dragon Rush or a Dragon Claw. It has the Ceruledge ult. It has its Phantom Force. And it has the Decidueye playing its life very well, providing a lot of entry damage, along with Suicune there to disrupt anyone in the mid-range, giving Lucario a tough time, giving all the supports and Latios and Mr. Mime a tough time. So this is a very well-crafted team.
Oh, Regieleki actually walks in on T2, but I don't think that Pirate has really any interest in making a push there. Maybe Garchomp goes for a little bit of a secret mission closer to the final stretch. So we'll see what that is all about. Looks like they are going to do that. Yeah, Leafeon spots him, though.
Good choice to wait patiently. we're going to give up on scoring and just go back to the first plan, plan A, attack.
And we're going to be very patient here. Spirit Shackle is going to open up the fight, and Mr. Mime forced to use their potion pretty early on. Another one's going to connect, and they're going to have to peel backwards. Malice is going to be right behind the Snorlax, make sure they don't walk too far forward. You got to watch out for that Leafeon.
I'm noticing something else. Sai has 2 supports, but none of them are healing supports.
Yeah.
And right now, Pirates have a lot of poke damage, and one thing to mitigate all the entry poke damage is to heal it off. But if you don't have it, that damage is pretty much permanent. So yeah, that's something else to leverage.
Lucario looking for a flank there. None the wiser is Pirate. And they're going to walk towards that. Decidueye might be in trouble. Oh, they spot them out. Immediate Unite move from the Suicune to try to slow that down. Here comes the Revenant Run from Saralech into the Power Nap and Heavy Slam. Leafeon goes down without a blink. And now it's going to be Pirate that's moving onto the Groudon with 2 members down of Sai. They're looking for the rip. But here comes the Rhydon. No, it's Malice that secures the Groudon for Pirate.
I loved every single second of it. Pirate's team was ready to defend its Decidueye. It's like, hey, they're going to go for Decidueye. They don't really have much of a choice. Let's have our ults ready. Let's have our moves ready to stop this. That was a beautiful Saralech ult. That was a beautiful Snorlax ult. Stuffing all their advances. They didn't get anything done.
Insane. Honestly, I'm more not necessarily surprised. I'm impressed is probably the best word of what was likely the communication on the team, because they wanted to play it slow and they wanted to keep that Decidueye protected. So you saw Jade just making sure to hover around Malice, making sure that they don't go too far away, making sure that to use that Spirit Shackle to kind of suss out where those Pokemon were hiding. And then the second that Lucario makes the peel in, you saw Haika use that Suicune Unite move to slow down the Lucario. And then that also ended up slowing down that Leafeon. Jade made a perfect Heavy Slam into the Power Nap that stopped that. It was just perfect execution and likely communication from this team at that Groudon.
Yeah, Decidueye is spending so much time getting good entry damage on the Mr. Mime, which is the threat because of his ultimate. But as soon as it found its new target in Lucario with not Spirit Shackle, with Shadow Sneak, it did a quick 180 and hit him right away.
Yeah, that was huge. That was absolutely massive. So excited to see what the damage numbers are in this one. I mean, it looked really good. Yeah. Holy cow. Look at that. Malice did 66k, but only took 10 or 8. I guess only 8. I was rounding
that
up.
Was basically from
very rude of me to round up. Sorry, only took 8.5k damage. So yeah, impressive stuff there, keeping that hyper carry really healthy and upright.
That is very important for a mon like Decidueye with a really low health pool to take very low damage. That means he was very well protected, which is super important. You need Decidueye is doing a lot of heavy lifting. It has to create passivity against the front line of the supports. The Rhydon has to play its life against Leafeon. It's really the core of the team. It really puts everything together.
True.
Decidueye was a wonderful pick.
And incredible stuff. They looked really good. I was impressed. Just the team synergy looked really strong for them. So very, very exciting stuff for Pirate of Sky Ruins, as they are gonna now be 2-1 on their overall record, adding that 2-0 win for their set overall total. So we'll see if that means that they're gonna be really fighting for that number 1 spot as we wrap up Underdunk number 81. Before that, though, we are going to go into a round number 4, the final round. We're going to check in on the bracket to see if we could potentially get a possible game 3, if there are any sets that are doing that. So don't go too far, folks. We're going to have more Underdunk 81 after a very brief intermission. Button press. Welcome back, trainers. Apologies for the wait. We're waiting for teams to get set up and into lobby, but we have a match. We have a very final game. It's going to be game number 1 versus Deer Dynasty versus No Clue. And I was told I got to select the map, so we're going to go to Rayquaza in game 1. We're just sending it to Ray. Why
this
not?
man wants it to be over with. That's why he
Why
picked
not?
Rayquaza.
Flip it on spawn. I don't care. Just do it. Send it. Line up the Spirit Shackle, the Snipe Shot, the Mew E-Ball, just whatever you have. Get ready for it because it's going to be the most important objective of the game. I'm excited. Every time you get a Rayquaza game, I think it's a little fun and silly. You do see some teams that just like to flip it on spawn if they're in a disadvantageous level situation. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in this game.
It's valid. That's what Rayquaza promotes. It's if you get the objective and if you get KO'd with it, the buff is gone forever. No one gets to have it. So that's the nature of it. It's unique in that way.
It is. So a reminder to everybody of what we're doing today. This is the round number 4 of our Swiss bracket. And we've been on all-star mode all evening long. So whatever shows up in game number 1 will not be allowed in game number 2 forward if it get to a game 3. The Pokemon in game 1 and 2 will not be allowed in game 3. So we are in that all-star format. First time we're doing this here on Underdunk. It's been super fun to see kind of the different compositions that teams have played. We saw a game earlier today where we had a Tinkaton against a Metagross, which I think was super fun to see. We saw Tyranitar earlier. So teams are going deep into their pools of Pokemon, which I think is always super fun to see. I'm excited to see, these are the 2 teams that are sitting at the top of the standings. So whoever wins this one based on standings and points and all that will likely be the winner of Underdunk number 81. So we'll see what these 2 teams have.
Yep, definitely looking forward to these guys. I'm unfamiliar with both of these teams, so very excited to see what they bring to the table here.
Yeah, Deer Dynasty, a very familiar squad. They have competed under a different moniker, but they have competed. So you'll see the team, the players in lobby, and you'll see that it's very similar squad to what we've seen previously. For example, won't even example. Let's just go ahead. Teams are ready. Teams are locked and loaded. Let's get into our draft of game number 1.
All right, let's see who they ban. Please not Typhlosion. I just want to see.
I do want to see it. So,
well, they banned Moltres. That's understandable.
Yeah.
That mom's doing a little bit too much.
Yeah, Moltres has been really good, but yeah, this team on the left, Deer Dynasty, is essentially last resort from our open qualifiers or last chance qualifiers just a couple short weeks ago. Ended up finishing 4th, and they actually ended up losing to a player that's on No Clue, Oblivion. I'm not sure who Oblivion is in the names, but took this squad down, unfortunately, for what was last resort, which is now Deer Dynasty. As we get into the bans, we have the birds. So Articuno, Moltres banned so far, the Snorlax as well as that Typhlosion, Machamp, and then to round us out, going to be that other Johto starter, the Feraligatr.
One thing I've been noticing is no one's really been banning or picking Zapdos anymore. As the discharge has that one extra discharge nerf really cemented it. I personally don't think so.
Me neither.
I still think discharge is a cracked move in early game. So
yeah, that one's still really strong. I feel like even just like the damage later in the game is also really strong. I played one game with it 2 nights ago, and I was just like, this Pokemon wasn't nerfed. This thing is still insane.
It's insane.
Still insane. Quote unquote, like hand slap nerf. But we are going to see the Buzzwole Garchomp, so a bit of brawl here for Deer Dynasty, as well as this Blastoise to give us a little bit of crowd control.
I wonder if Deer Dynasty is going to go with a Protect the President composition. I would like to see some mages over for No Clue. Charizard Y is a good pick. It is a very good board breaker. but it can be dealt with. Buswell is a decent one to at least get that started. Let's see who else they pick. They get 2 more picks. They're looking on another all-arounder and perhaps an attacker, or let's see who they pick. They have about 5 seconds. He's scrolling around. He's looking for Sirfetch'd. Remember, guys, you can organize the bond by role and then just pick from there.
You absolutely can. But
like,
why would you do that? I mean, they could have. They picked 4 all-rounders, mind you, to Deer Dynasty. So in game number 1, they're going to be very round.
Oh, they're this is an engaged comp if I've ever seen it. This is a brawl comp. Yeah. They're gonna go in. I do not envy that Greninja. I do not envy that Mew. I don't envy that Charizard when it doesn't have a Unite.
Yeah. Charizard Y, as well as the Psyduck is gonna be the supporter of choice. I'm trying to think of what we're gonna see on this Psyduck. Given that it is an all-rounder heavy composition, I wouldn't be super surprised if we saw Disable and Surf.
Surf is a must.
Surf is so good, but there's something about me. I always love a good Bubble Beam game, and when I see an A-presser, something like Greninja, I feel like Bubble Beam can be really strong, especially when everybody's like grouped up. I
wholeheartedly agree. There's some good candidates. Charizard is a basic attacker. Greninja is a basic attacker. Bubble Beam, it's the more quote-unquote skill-intensive move as opposed to Surf. All Psyduck's moves are very good, in my opinion. It just comes down to situation. So it can line up one good Bubble Beam, and then you have Greninja just throwing a bunch of shurikens and proccing a bunch of stuns on the enemy mons. Same thing with Charizard. When it's ults in, it's mainly basic attacking. So Bubble Beam could see a lot of mileage here.
All right, let's get into game number 1. Last round of the evening. They're sending that Gibble up top very quickly. Oh, did that thing pop an X speed? Because they're like moving. Buzzwell also going to go up that top path. It looks like Gibble actually going for an invade.
Wait, this is actually a good matchup for Gibble. He just has the basic attack on top of somebody, and Charmander can't do anything about that.
No, and actually
good to hold it.
Great secures there so far. Gibble stealing that red buff, immediately going for this Baltoy, gonna grab that as well. Gonna blind this Charizard and start moving forward. Those boosted attacks are going through. Forces an eject.
He used X speed already, right? Man. Well, yeah, he flashed. There he goes. He's out of there.
So maybe it just looked like he was going fasterly.
Does he have Floatstone on?
Oh, you know what? He might have had Floatstone on.
He was.
Let me see. I'm going to go back to the feed and see if I could pick out what we had for items. Because, yeah, it looked like he was going a little fast.
Yeah, well, me back at the bottom here. Well, Azumarill had his levels. It's level 5 along with Sirfetch'd. You can only look one person. That is the unfortunate reality against the brawl comp like this. I believe Foul Play should have been the move of choice for Umbreon.
Ooh, good push here for No Clue. They're going to get some points in. Only 2 so far. Buzzwell doing a good job. It is a Bubble Beam, and that is going to find that KO. That extra damage gives the KO to the Psyduck. Now Azumarill going to attack this Charmeleon, send them back to the Pokemon Center. Going to go onto this Psyduck, and Umbreon's going to put them in that timeout circle.
Hold on. That Sirfetch'd is running Fury Cutter.
Yeah.
You don't see that very often. I'm a big fan of Fury Cutter.
Yeah, me too.
Leaf Blade is cool. It's the optimal choice, but Fury Cutter just does a lot of damage.
Yeah.
You can light it up.
Azumarill goes down, and I did check the feed, and they are running Floatstone, so that explains the boost in speed for that Gabite early on and why they got over to that side so quickly. 740, and we have a little bit of time. Buzzwell gonna maybe look towards pushing this T1 goal zone. Nice little push there from the Garchomp, catches Umbreon, but doesn't really amount to anything.
I have a Azumarill here who wants to do a bunch of 1v1s in this little area of effect. Getting good damage here. That's a huge Soul Beam, getting a pickup on Azumarill just in time for 720.
Yeah.
We have No Clue should be able to secure all this farm right here. And Deer Dynasty is a team of all-arounders. They are very farm hungry. They should honestly let that pad break for more farm.
They may. Oh, great grab from Buzzwell. Charizard's in a little bit of danger. Garchomp's the only one that's gonna fall. Charizard able to get away to safety. Mean look onto the Azumarill to make sure they can't go eject play onto the Umbreon, but they're able to just narrowly escape the grasp of that Buzzwole.
Yeah, this is going to be a very different team dynamic once Deer Dynasty's all loaded up. But same thing with Charizard. It's 8.5, almost about to tick into 9 if it gets this secure here for the Regieleki. Looks like it's about to get in. There is the Surf secure from Greninja. Getting more cleanup. Next on the chopping block is Blastoise as Regieleki is going to be walking in. Whoa, Surf Fetch is insane. What is he doing? He got a pickup!
He did. He does go down to the Charizard, who now has their Unite move because they took down that level 10 Surfetch. And there is that Unite move onto the Garchomp, forces the eject button, forces them back into the speed flux zone. Buzzwole somehow able to massively pull that away.
That is funny.
That was great. But they still lose that goal zone. All for naught.
It's like, we'll put it way over here. Oh, it gets stuffed by the Mean Look. That is a very good use case for Mean Look. Stuffing out that Azumarill ult. Does it get ult charge back or does it just fizzle?
I honestly don't know. We'll probably find out in the next like 10 to 15 seconds.
Yeah.
But seeing that it doesn't have it back yet, it makes me wonder if that's just gone until it fully charges.
That is mean, but I love it. Garchomp has an ult here. I believe it's time to let it rip. Charizard doesn't have ult. It can't counter it. Getting a lot of good damage. Greninja's going to be ulting in. Has eyes on Blastoise. It should secure this kill.
Yeah.
Yep, that's the cleanup. There it is.
Easy pickings at that point. And look at the levels now. Level 11 on the Charizard, Greninja ticking into 10. They're going to actually even cap this. They could have allowed that 29 to go in, but I think they're going to want to play with tempo. So 35 into the T2 from this Umbreon. And No Clue does not want to relent the advantage that they just gained by winning that fight. So they're going to stay on this side of the map.
So I believe I'm seeing like another reason for the Mean Look. It's mainly there to stuff the Blastoise.
Yeah.
That's one of its counters. Blastoise can't create space that the rest of its all-around team can that it needs.
Oh, that's big.
What? That is big pickup right there. Dragon Rush, Dragon Claw combination. Once those two moves are used in tandem, you get a brand new animation, screwing up and doing a lot of damage. And another uppercut to the stratosphere. Down goes Greninja, and it's starting to snowball really heavily now.
Yeah, Azumarill did not miss that Unite move. They're making sure that they were able to pull that trigger. Umbreon goes down. Charizard now on the counter. Has Unite move. We're going to go ahead and use it. Azumarill down. And now this Regieleki does get taken from by Deer Dynasty before the No Clue was really able to respond.
Yeah, well, now they're going to be able to deal with Lloyd. Garchomp is right there. It's not over yet.
Oh, it might walk.
He flashed right in, getting major damage on Regieleki too. That's basically an ultra combo finish. Next on the chopping block is we have Umbreon here for perhaps a triple KO. Umbreon's being sent everywhere. Regieleki walks in. That's gonna be a big overcap. Buster's gonna be able to get some stacks in. That's
they could have done more.
That's a missed opportunity. Could have had a huge overcap.
Yeah, that's like 30 points additional that they could have got. I think there's 15 by the Azumarill, but Garchomp had a full 50, so very unfortunate here. Blastoise is going to try to keep this Charizard Y from stacking up and getting their Unite move back a little bit faster. They're level 13. Can Blastoise hold this guy off? Looks like he's going to try to. Oh, it does get more points in, but eventually finds the KO on the level 13 Zard.
So yeah, peeling back to the missed opportunity for the 50 points there. It's not. I think it's not so much about increase the point lane. That's what the game is about. It's more so for the levels.
Levels, yeah.
Scoring 50 points gives you a lot of experience.
Yeah,
the game
it really
wants
does.
you to do that.
Which I guess it's not that bad because Garchomp is level 13 already. You would certainly love to see if it could maybe hit level 14, but we'll see kind of how these levels kind of get dispersed. 240 on the clock, 227, 199. Pretty close game for all intents and purposes. Azumarill going to have to try to run away from the Zard. Good pickup and scoop from the Garchomp, and Charizard able to get away to safety.
All right, we have Garchomp being Mean Look, getting Solar Beam, getting Mew boosted. Surfetch is going to block that with its body, not with its shield, weirdly enough. Is it running Detect, I'd imagine, right? I haven't seen any brutal swings.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're Detect. I just feel like Detect is so good. It's hard not to go with that.
Good.
Yeah.
Brutal swing, they keep buffing it, but it's because it's slow that no one's using it.
Let's
So,
see
yeah, the
kind of
deck
how
is
he's
just too good.
set up. Muse does have a little bit of poke damage. They're going to connect that Muted auto onto the Blastoise. Mean Look onto the Azumarill for the 8 billionth time. Garchomp's going to Unite move into the back line. Muse is going to go into their Mystical Mirage. Going to hit a Surf. Nice little Muted
Oh my
auto.
God,
Dear
that's so
Dynasty is
good!
going to find a KO on the Czar, but Surfetch goes down. Here comes Greninja. Garchomp Blastoise going to fall, and now the Buzzwole down. It's just the
He
Azumarill
whiffed!
left to
No,
defend.
the
He's
shot.
alive. Can he get a KO on the Duck? He does. And now it's just Greninja that's going to have to retreat back to base, and we're going to reset for a refight.
That smoke screen was so clutch. He went the opposite direction. Azumarill trying to get the Aqua Tail, but it just couldn't get it. But it got some value, got some KO. So we're back to neutral here. There's now no ultimates. They're just gonna have to play it out again, and no clues in the lead.
Okay, another
And
Solar Beam
Blastoise is
from
being
this
left alone on an
Mew.
island, yet about to get KO'd here. Oh wait, hold on, they
Oh!
gotta pick a Greninja.
Greninja,
Yes.
perfect smoke screen to escape the clutches of that Buzzwole. Rayquaza still not getting hit. Blastoise able to reset back to base. Charizard going to reset to base to make sure no one goes for any back caps. For Pokemon going through the choke point. Mew's going to hit a Solar Beam onto the Blastoise. Umbreon going for a scoring mission down on T2. Now Rayquaza's starting to get hit. Dear Dynasty has plenty of rip. They're going to go for it. Psyduck in a world of hurt, and they're going to go back to the Pokemon Center. Charizard level 14 looking for a Fire Blast secure. No, can't get it. Dear Dynasty scoops it up.
Oh, Umbreon was the wrong one to send on that mission. It was the wrong choice. You need Umbreon there. Those guys want to fight you. Umbreon slows that down heavily, and now they have the Rayquaza buff. You basically can't stop him anymore. Charizard no longer has true damage with its fire, so it can't poke through the shield anymore to stop the scores. These scores are going in unimpeded.
Yeah, another 50, another 30. Yeah, we're pretty much good here for Dear Dynasty. They're going to survive in game number 1. Perfect fight there. You got to give it up to that Azumarill. Otherwise, I feel like if they don't get those KOs in that moment, I think No Clue probably has full authority to go ahead and rip it.
Yep. Azumarill kept that game alive and held its own. One thing that flipped that fight on its head, Buzzwole got a huge engage on Charizard, who was in mid-ult. It got the slam, and once it was low, it ulted it, and it just erased its health.
Yeah.
That was a huge pick.
Super fun game. F86 looked really good. Got that big secure on the Rayquaza to make sure Dear Dynasty was able to secure the win in this one. They were level 14. I mean, they were matching, maybe not on the damage side, but they were matching levels all game. Just maybe not as many fights that they needed to take. So they focused on that late game, and it paid, I'd say it paid some dividends.
Paid all. This comp won. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
4 all-arounders and a defender in Blastoise.
Yep. As
Pina
said in chat,
here.
Pina said in chat that this composition was her when she sees the crab rangoons all around. What is that even supposed to mean?
I'm not even sure.
No one knows what it means. But either way, we're going to be moving towards game number 2. I'm super excited for this one. We saw an all-rounders, except for the Blastoise in game number 1. What are we going to see in game number 2? Because obviously, reminder for those that are watching at home, all-star mode means that none of the Pokemon in game 1 are going to be available for game number 2. We're going to see all new stuff. So I'm excited, except for the bands. The bands may stay the same.
Yeah, most likely. So I believe for Dear Dynasty, I personally would like to see, and like I know this is crazy. This is like ranked territory. I would like to see a bunch of attackers. Now, hear me out. Going up against a bunch of attackers is very scary. If you ever go in by yourself, you are getting annihilated. You have to really play together as a team against a bunch of attackers.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of different flavors. There's mages, there's snipers, there's just A-pressers. There's a lot of variety there. So, and there's even like quote-unquote tank attackers like Venusaur or Armorage, for example. So there's a lot of variety there.
Even Typhlosion it's kind of fits that same bill, right? Maybe we'll get something a little different when we get the second move set for Typhlosion. I'm sure will cost an arm and a leg when it gets released. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of options. Someone in chat pointed out that there's a possibility that we may see a situation where someone maybe picks all supporters in a game, which leaves none of
I'm
them for
about
game
it.
number, like the future games. So I think that could be
I'm
something
so
really
about
fun to
it.
see. I don't think that's realistic or anybody would, you know, do that on
Uh,
purpose, but you never know. You never know. I think it could be fun.
Honestly, that's like I think that's a legitimate strategy for like a game one for a team.
Yeah.
If it's like all star, just pick all the supporters,
Like
get them out of the way.
game
If you
one in a
manage to
best of
win, you
five.
win. But if you lose, there's
Honestly,
no more supports.
honestly, I
I
think it could absolutely work.
That's like a cool dimension to this game mode that like is not
Yeah.
being utilized just yet. But we gotta wait and see.
I mean, there's so many supporters that can be, in the attacker role. I mean, you look at Mr. Mime has been used in a damage function. Eldegoss can absolutely be used in a damage function. So there are definitely a lot of options, as we look into the true way that Pokemon can get played.
All right, we're gonna have Deer Dynasty going in with another all arounder. There's so many all arounders they could just do another all arounder composition. Honestly,
True.
we're
They
being quite
really
frank.
could. Zapdos is gonna get selected for No Clue, as well as the Blissey.
Wait,
So, oh,
wait, wait,
oh
wait,
my
wait,
gosh, we're
wait.
doing double Gyarados.
Double Gary? Hey, you'll send them both to the top. They can't they can't pollute both lanes. Send them all to the top,
Put both of the remaining Charles Zards in here too. or,
please.
or both Mewtwo's. Imagine they go
I'm
both
about
Mewtwo's
it.
here. It's a nightmare.
Uh,
Okay, no, we're gonna go Dodrio. Okay, I can see the Mewtwo Y here. I could see that being all right.
yeah, Mewtwo is a good lane punter, and like you're gonna need it. Look what's happening on the screen.
Yeah, who's playing support here? Like, what's is Mewtwo Y? Kind of your
He's
pseudo
the
support
support.
in this composition. I mean, you didn't really have a supporter in game number one. You had your defender. This is bizarre, and I'm here for it.
This is bizarre. So we have two Gyarados. Once they come online, and if they come online early enough, then like the game's actually over. That's crazy to think about. But
Yeah.
once think about it, you have two Gyarados ults, two sharks in the water, honing in on somebody. Ideally, that Zapdos in the back. That Zapdos has to play for its life. He has to be very careful.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see what we say. I mean, oftentimes get to see both Gyarados. We'll certainly uh we'll certainly see.
Yes.
I mean,
Here for the fun times.
you know what? Me too. I do like the composition for Noku. The Blissey and Wigglytuff is kind of a fun like year one combination. I imagine that since we have all these all-rounders that we're gonna go Safeguard, I feel like that's likely the play, and having that additional potential cleanse for this Wigglytuff Unite move, gonna be really fun to watch.
Good choice. The Sing reduces the opponent's special defense, and Zapdos with a Zap Cannon is going to appreciate that a lot. So that's another dimension there.
All right, well, let's get into game number 2. Double Fish. We're gonna be going up towards
Send
the
them
top
to
hat.
the top.
They're both going.
Don't-
Okay, no, they're sending
where's
one
that fish going?
to Inve. What's going on here?
Wait,
What's-
they're both in. Someone put the camera over there. I have to see this.
Someone send
What's
these men to
happening?
jail. Send them straight to
Wait.
jail. Zapdos, Wiggly should be able to get some easy secures here.
Look at
Yeah,
him
these
go.
poor
Look at
fish
him
can't do a whole
go.
lot. If they get a
Wait,
KO,
hold on.
though,
They
that would
got
be
good
pretty
damage,
insane.
though.
Okay, I mean, it's a little bit of something, but not a lot of a whole lot. They are
So
distracting,
imagine
though.
if the Chansey wasn't there. They actually would have gotten the KO.
I think so, too. I honestly agree. I think they would have.
And then the game ended. Oh,
Serena.
I respect them. I respect them for that.
I do, too. You gotta love it. And the Magikarp just flopping away. Gonna see if they could get anything
points,
done.
30%.
Dodrio does have their buffs in tow. Looking to look for a KO. Here comes the Magikarp to maybe try to piggyback an assist or something. Wigglytuff's gonna try to sing them away, but the Dodrio has enough escapability. They're gonna get back to safety.
See, here's the thing with Magikarp. It has nothing to lose and everything to gain. So if your health is low, you might actually want to retreat.
Yeah,
Get away
ooh.
from it. Don't give it the chance.
Yeah, Saraledge gonna take a double KO. This Magikarp gonna
Oh
go
my
down.
God, so much
Dodrio might be able to
damage.
get a KO in return. They do. It is Eggs Blissey. We'll see how many stacks they can get in. 9 points in here. Here comes Moltres. Here comes Dodrio. They're gonna find that KO. Still no Gyarados online though.
Soon. It's almost there. It's about 60% there.
Oh, he couldn't get a
Getting
stack.
KO'd again.
Poor level
like, here's the
3
thing.
fish.
There's no value in killing it either.
Yeah.
There's no value.
Other
It
than
has
like
nothing
just
to lose.
resetting how long it takes to get back to path.
That's
So,
about it.
Yeah. That's
You're two
really
holding
about
its own
it.
at bottom, which is very important. It's level 6, about to reach level 7. It's going to be huge, very pivotal. I imagine it's going to be playing it safe. It's going to be a teleport and side strike Mewtwo. Even though I think Recover is this X Factor move, and it keeps it very active in the fight as long as it maintains its spacing. But we're about to see a Gyarados here in about a second. He's going to grab a berry, get its
he's
attacks
not.
in. Not
He's
yet.
done.
Here's the next wave. Here's
There
the
we
next
go.
wave.
There we
Yes!
go. We got the first Gyarados online. It's the Mega one. Gonna go for
Uh-oh.
the KO on the Blissey. Dodrio gets credit for it, but regardless, they're back to the Pokemon Center, and the push is on. We're gaming
Just
now. It's
in
gonna be
time.
Regieleki up in this top path. Gonna clear the birds first, and this Serena might be caught. They're gonna have to dash backwards. Gyarados gonna try to run away. Saraledge's gonna get caught by the Moltres.
No.
But
Here's
good
another
return
Gyarados.
favor.
The next wave. The next
Yeah.
wave.
Oh,
Oh
double
no.
Gyarados
Oh no.
is crazy. This is
Agree with
actually
the
kind of
cleanup?
really funny.
This is Wile E. Coyote-esque comp.
With
Look at
Looney
him go.
Tunes, Scooby Doo. Oh, and they're gonna get all their stacks in too.
All their stacks. Now he'll be doing oppressive amounts of damage.
Yep. Oh, we got the Mewtwo Y Mega Evolve, but Zapdos gonna try to return favor. Here comes Saraledge, slices them down. Ice now gonna be on the menu here for no clue. Should be able to take this pretty easily.
This is now a scary game state for No Clue. There's 2 Gyaradoses. They're getting their levels. They're getting their stacks. One's about to have their ultimate soon. I believe it's the Mega Gyarados is in the lead. They're about to score heavily on top, and in response, No Clue's going to score heavily on bottom. After scoring, there is the Sing Wigglytuff. They're going to kind of disengage a bit here. It's going to be hard to score him, but they're just really interested in stacks.
Yeah, they're
Really
gonna be interested in
sacrifice their lives
stacks.
for it.
Oh, they're gonna in for it a little bit. They're gonna go
He
down.
ulted for that.
Yeah, double KO for
Interesting.
the Saraledge, and they're actually going to be able to handle this Regieleki pretty easily. But it does look like Deer Dynasty is going to get this consolation Regidrago unless No Clue can converge on it. Here they come. Here comes Saraledge. No, denied.
coming in. He
Gyarados
was
able to get it, but the
brave.
Revenant
But it
Ren,
gets a cleanup.
Mewtwo Unite move is
Mewtwo
going to
with the ult,
stun
but it's
them
not
up.
enough.
But yeah, not enough. Not enough.
Like, I see the vision for the ground on fight at the end. I see the vision. There's going to be 2 Gyarados ults. There's going to be a Mewtwo ult. They're going to stun everyone, and they're
Yeah.
going to. It's going to be huge. Just patience. It's going to happen soon.
They're going to have to
Maybe not right now. They're still
Yeah.
just getting the resources. They're getting the tools, but soon.
They're gonna have to, do that around this Wigglytuff Unite move, because if that happens, Wigglytuff can cleanse all of those Unite moves. So you kind of have to be very careful and selective. Maybe you go for this Wigglytuff first. We'll see how that goes. No Clue, gonna go for all of the central area Pokemon of Deer Dynasty, trying to deprive them of a little bit of leveling. Here comes Gyarados onto the Saraledge. Can they find a KO? Here
the
comes
Mega
Serena into the
Mewtwo
back
getting
line.
some good
They're gonna look
poke,
to
and he got
pick
picked
up
up,
this
picked up.
Gyarados, and he's gonna be able to just barely able to bounce away.
So here's another thing. They have 2 supports on No Clue, but
Yeah.
if they just deal with like the Zapdos and or Serena and Saraledge, then like the team just falls apart so heavily. You're just taking out one of them.
Yeah.
They have to be very. They have to really play their lives here.
We'll see. Now we have another Reggie Roulette down on the bottom path. Second Reg Ice. Zapdos, Blissey, Saraledge looking to counter and maybe steal this away. Here comes Saraledge, but Gyarados once again
No
able to secure
dice.
that. Good KO on the Saraledge. And now Zapdos is running for their life.
Oh,
Grabs a Citrus
damage.
Berry, but they're not going to be able to salvage this goal zone. 37 and 40. 20-point overcap for Deer Dynasty, and they take the lead.
They're officially in the lead, 243 to 200. Going into the late game here, it's about under 4 minutes. Saraledge trying to get an ult, taking out the Drio. There is the Serena ult for the invincibility frames, but it's next on the chopping block.
Yeah.
There's a lot of damage. There is the cleanse. That's helping
Okay.
out. Looks like they're going to have to do a retreat.
Blissful Assistance onto the Wigglytuff, but it's going to yield them maybe a KO on this Mewtwo if they're able to run away in time. Or they're going to deposit this little
Get some
7-point
scoring,
on
get
the
some
way
ult
back to the
charge, why
Pokemon
not?
Center. Oh, they're
It's no way
doing
it's
a
still
pretty
alive.
good
There's no
job
way
of
it's still
buying some
alive.
time, honestly.
Hey, Bob, plenty of time. We'll take it. Serena here towards the center, gonna do an invade. It's gonna be put onto the radar for somebody soon. Dodrio sees it, so that means the rest of his team sees it. Serena's gonna have to get out of there. You don't want to fight a bunch of Gyarados and a Moltres on their side of the map.
I'm not so sure about what that Unite move was all about. Maybe a last moment to use it, try to find a KO. They're going to try to run away from the Zapdos Blissey, not before brawling them a little bit. I don't know if they're going to get away from this one. They're going to unmega evolve, and now they're going to try to run through the
He's
central.
out of there.
Unreal, honestly.
Gyarados, yep, you should bouncing fish away, but Saralege is not done yet. That's an overextension if I've ever seen it.
Hands in the
Thanks
cookie
for
jar
the
moment.
levels.
And they're going to break T2, top side. FAD6 playing with a little bit of tempo
How
on
is
this
this
Dojo.
working?
Almost level 15.
How is this working?
Yeah, I feel like this is illegal. This shouldn't happen.
Oh, these guys are making the meta. What is going on here? Who are these guys? Once again, a mage would have really cooked here. Zapdos probably needs some help. And like dealing with these guys because it could get easily dived. They're all in the choke right now. Mewtwo might come in very soon. They are missing one Gyarados Unite. It is now 2 minutes. Groudon is here. Moltres is going in with reckless abandon. Gonna have to back up. Gonna get ulted by Serena. Here comes some ults. There is the clans. Gyarados is coming in. The blood's in the water. The sharks are on the way. There is a Zap Cannon, and that is a KO.
Yeah, it's not good here for Deer Dynasty. There's that Revenant Ren, but here comes that triple trample from the back line. They're going to take down 2. That is a perfect convergence for this Dodrio to salvage what's left of this game. Saralege very low, going to get healed up by this Blissey. Dodrio going for scores, going to deposit a full Hundo Burger in the central area. Groudon now at half. We'll see if this Moltres can get there in time. And it's very low. We're going to look for the secure, but Saralege able to get it, but points still need to be gotten for No Clue.
All right. Deer Dynasty can still win this. They just have to play insane defense against a Groudon enhanced team.
Yeah.
So, well, the Gyarados are available. They're really going to need Dodrio's help. Stopping the scores here. Gyarados is going to need help very soon. Serena gets that in.
Okay.
Doesn't want to overextend. He's going to have to, he can afford to give that up.
Yeah, it's not enough. They're still going to need an extra 84 plus. We'll see how that goes. Size Strike's going to connect onto the Wigglytuff. No Clues pivoting towards this top path. Still all of the Groudon shields in tow. Here comes the Mega Gyarados from on the back line. Going to hit onto the Zapdos, but return favor. Unite move from the Zapdos. We're still looking for defense. Saralege is going to fall. No Clue still needs some points. Are they going to get any in? Oh, they don't. They get full wiped. Dear Dynasty. They're going to keep this set 2-0.
I saw the Zapdos ult not in the pad. I'm like, that's a mistake. That's a mistake. You needed that to win. Oh, no. They got away with it again. Another all-rounder comp. They can't keep getting away with this.
There's no way. There's no way. No Clue.
Lock them up. Throw away the key. Those guys are criminals.
Unable to converge on that T2 top side. And they fall just short. Deer Dynasty able to capitalize. Get that full team wipe. FAD6, 11 KOs, 6 assists. Well-deserved MVP honors right there.
Yes, he was there. The other guys were just, the other all-arounders were just there to, like, make them low so the dudes could just clean up easily.
Yeah.
That was the gameplay. That was actually the real goal. Just go in there, reckless abandon them. If you die, it's fine. Just get them low. Dojiro will do the rest.
Insane. I mean, they were level 15 at Groudon,
Yes.
so it was just a time before they were able to start picking people off. I love the pivot to go to the home goal zone, knowing that No Clue was probably just going to go ahead and rip, and that was essentially almost the game deciding play. If it wasn't for that defensive stand, also that F8D6 made on that T2, helping take down that Saralege, and then all the dominoes came crumbling down right after that. Never a valiant effort there from No Clue. Honestly, well played, all intents and purposes, but still fell short.
It was a bit of a split push there on that last tier 2 fight. Saraledge went in, it had a Groudon buff, but it went in a 1v4 against a bunch of bulky mons, and it gave away a buff. If just one of those mons have a Groudon buff at that phase at those levels, that's enough.
Yeah, it was enough. And it was enough, right? They got the one Groudon buff that they needed from that Saraledge, and then just
it fell apart.
Ran them over. Oh, yeah, that was great. That was perfect. That was super fun. Really fun way to end the night. That's gonna likely, depending on what the standings show and all that, likely means that Deer Dynasty is gonna be your Underdunk 81 champion. But we'll have to go to the math table. I don't do the math. Not me. Not my department. That's a Lordy department. My department is casting, being bad at production and forgetting to change overlays, and graphics. Those are my jobs. I've only been fired 7 times tonight. I think that's a new low. So we'll see. But Double Fish Comp, love it. That was super fun.
Love it. I'm glad. I'm actually glad they invaded. I'm like, hey,
yeah, me too.
If we just get this pick, we win the game right now.
I know, that would have been crazy.
That was worth it. They almost had it.
I wonder if there's like some scouting that happened. Like No Clue Up seemed very ready for that invade.
They're like, hey, no one's up here. They picked 2 fish. Oh my god, I have to go to the jungle.
We know what, Pina. We know what. Are you making fun of me? That's not very nice. Not very nice. But I think that's it for us today. Underdog 81 comes to a conclusion. Are you talking about the math? I've never overdunked 0 when you were trying to stack. That's never happened. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't accuse me. Yeah, it's fake news. Let's go ahead and look for a raid. But GX, any final thoughts as we wrap up Underdunk 81? Any thoughts on All-Star?
Those last 2 games were wonderful.
They're
what
so
a
fun,
great
right?
way to close it out. So much fun. All-rounders for life.
All-rounders for life. That's our final note. Well, we're going to be back. I'm not sure if we are going to have a broadcast next week. I'll have to double check with the rest of the team, but stay tuned on the socials as well as the Discord to stay up on when we'll be live again for Underdunk 82. But until then, trainers, we'll see you next time and hope you have a great holiday weekend if you celebrate. Bye now.